alive.
Okay. Hello, my little motherfucklings. It is I, your motherfucker. And welcome to another episode of Thanks for Playing, the show where things happen sometimes, maybe. Yeah, last week things happened, and this week maybe more things will happen. Who knows? Last week, Sakura didn't die. That was a thing that happened.
The giant sputter became pulp.
And, Kana churned its butter, which is not an innuendo. and much surviving was had. Huzzah! And this week, perhaps more. We shall see. There's still time.
And to our rules lawyers out there,
I was about to address
we made a
that.
mistake.
Yeah, we found out that the spider, the excluder thing, yeah, it should have been immune to the whole sleep thing, for multiple reasons. But it wasn't, because guess what? It's winter, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So going forward, that won't be a thing. But this time it was a thing. Special circumstances. Also not that. So that
It's something we'll overlook.
Yeah,
I am, for one, glad that mistakes were made.
Yes, otherwise you would have been asleep, and it would have tickled you.
Very bad.
Gucci Gucci. Anyway. There's a history there. We're not going into it. Huzzah! Let's go. It's time. Thanks for playing.
What is it? It's bad that I've now imagined the spider just going Gucci Gucci Gucci. And Sakura's just petrified in fear.
No, Sakura's just asleep.
Oh yeah.
Banana gets turned from a vulture to a
Oh, you mean?
And the rest of us
Banana.
are picturing there as being a small goblin underneath the lid.
Yep.
It's like the one gif from like Snow White. It's just the wicked witch just kind of like going back in her hole.
As you can see, there's more energy this week. It's fantastic.
The caffeine just hit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're live now. So when we left off, they were not dead. A lot not dead. The thingy, the sash, had been mended, which was cool. Grokhan had demanded tea for Sakura, which was suggested tea for Sakura. And then they went and got wood, and then there was food, and it was pretty good. And the night was quiet.
Except for wards.
So now what? No, it's you should be on, if I am not mistaken. Or there's a speeder. So you should be on the morning of the 17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Feels right.
That's what I have written down. I should write down Spooter so I don't forget. Because I don't have it. Spooter Day. So now we're on Pythona, the 17th. Which means you cleared that hat.
Yeah.
And you're on to a new thing. Woot woot! Look at that hex. It's so clear. All the clear is hexness. And then you guys said you were going northwest, correct? The previously explored hex?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
heading back to Oleg's, I believe, right? Is that what we were doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Give me 1 second here. Okay, that's right.
I don't remember. Is it a day to travel through a hex?
That you've already explored, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't worry about running into some crazy shit.
Yep. Stupid stuff.
There you go. I'm gonna leave that marked as Spooter so you guys remember.
We also didn't mark down the temple from the hex before.
The tomb, yeah.
Yeah, tomb. Sorry. I have temples on the brain. Because my temples
you
are
did.
throbbing.
My apologies. I had my notes to fix, and then this week has been a little hectic.
No.
So, 1 moment, please, and I will fix that for you. I'm just gonna draw a big sword there.
Yeah, that would work.
Because that's gonna be good enough for now. Wow, my skills at drawing are for shit. Whee! It's sword. Fuck. Wow. Maybe I should just use a fucking line. That might be better. You know what? I'm just gonna look up a sword token. How's that?
Can you copy that tomb token that's over to the left of the map real quick? Is that easier?
That might be a little bit easier, yeah.
Well, I already found a tomb or a
Sword.
I already found a sword, and I like it. It's a nice sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big sword!
I know it's supposed to be a giant sword, but wow.
It's there now.
It's there now.
Yeah,
I'm
now
gonna
we
fuck
know
with that
it's
later.
a special giant sword.
Yep.
Yep, it's so
A
sword.
giant is buried here.
Did you know sword? Giant sword? Sword.
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 There you go. Now it's all like
In the
yeah,
ground.
sure. There. Sure. That's a thing that happened. Back to that thing I was
those of
doing
you-
before that. Which was a different
For
thing.
those of you thinking it, the big Goron sword is still the greatest two-handed sword in video games. You're
Yeah,
welcome
sure.
to have me.
Alright, so here we are with things and stuff. Alright. Now roll my dice on top of that. Because that's what dinner is for, right? So the weather today. I actually fucking know the weather. Because I have a thing. Wow.
Is it cold as fuck?
No.
Is it cold as fuck? I mean, probably.
Oh, well, cold as fuck. Probably. The high temp is 43, the low temp will be 37.
That's not bad.
Your precipitation for the day is going to be fucking none.
Clear sailing.
No
But
snow?
your max wind speed will be 18 miles per hour.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. Oh, when you're in.
Dropped his dice.
So when you wake up, it'll be roughly 37 degrees and fair.
Nippy.
I have a weather archive now, y'all.
Nippy.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
It's a little nippy.
A little nippy.
It's a little nippy.
But, well, you wake up. Wake the fuck up! And,
Get the fuck up, bitch.
Indeed. So what's what you like to do with your day? I need to... Keep going.
After breakfast, because we would have talked about the work that we saw last night.
Yes!
The big creepy morgue thing.
Sakura just want to confirm their plans. We're heading back to Oleg's now, right?
I think that's the most fitting option.
Oh, that would be. Well, hopefully Mahin's back, and we can carry on. And there's some things that I wanted to discuss with him, mainly about making it official for the two of you to be part of this charter if that was something that you desired. But it would be nice to get back.
You good, Cece?
I just read Pop-Tart's shirt.
Well, since we had recently talked about sports, I wanted to, show off my favorite sport. Shirt by Voidmorch. Please check out their stuff. We're not sponsored, but I like them.
Yeah, they got some really good stuff. I recognized it being Void, so I was like, wait, what does it say? And then I read
But
it.
yeah, since we were talking about sports recently, I figured I should show off my favorite sports team.
Yep, no. I agree. Also, my favorite sports team. Anyways, my bad.
Is anyone else reminded of the old video game Blood Bowl?
No.
No.
I don't know what that is.
What is it?
Is anyone else reminded of the old video game Blood Bowl? Good.
Not until now.
They still have Blood Bowl. They've made new
I know.
ones.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Some people play Madden. I play Blood Bowl.
A valid choice, good sir.
Probably the more superior choice.
Yes, the
Anyway.
almost superior choice.
Neffy, before you were interrupted,
Sorry.
What
I
were you
was trying
saying?
not to.
She was just saying that it would be good to get back to Oleg's. You can tell that she's not as shaken up as she was about the spider incident, but there's some relief about going back to safety for a little bit. Kind of like finding a safe spot to catch your breath.
I'm sure there's more than just that, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I know.
Tony!
no.
And
She's
plus,
expecting.
even though he's not here yet.
Yeah.
My goal is to
Spoiler
make Neffy
alert,
blush
Maine
as much
is
as
not
possible.
back at the fort.
Yeah, no. But we assume that he might be, so.
God,
I'm
fuck.
writing.
Off we
I'm-
go.
I'm
So
letting
we're-
them talk as I sit there, and I'm writing down in my book just information about the work that we found out about.
So,
I've been listening.
you guys pack your things after a bland but tasty breakfast. And you get on your way.
The sound keeps cutting out for me, but the Monty Python sound of the coconuts clacking just overrides it
doesn't matter
anyways.
if that's out. We all know. We all know the gestures.
Yes.
So let's see what you encounter today, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh.
cast detect magic before we leave this.
Do it.
Sweet.
Uh,
I
be-
need to roll perception.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to double make sure because my brain is fried.
Valid.
18.
The face is not about you. Anyway, 18 detects magic for things to notice, maybe. I just rolled 3 19s in a row on this. It's not good. It doesn't mean anything. It was just I was trying to roll for a thing on the table. Yeah, nope.
Don't find anything today. Rowan is rolling hot.
Followed by an 18. Yeah, don't fight anything. I care about you guys and your feelings. I mean,
Your dice are wanting to kill us today, huh?
those aren't even my murder dice. Those are like my
They,
pretty, just like plastic ones.
they know we fucked up with the rolling on sleep.
And the spider, they know it's unfair.
Oh, that one rolled a nat 20. I'm putting that one back. It's a roleplay day, you guys. You're not gonna find out anything, but you'll be safe. Okay, maybe I'm just using them up now. Let's go with that. I'm using them up now. So you're not gonna find out anything, but you're gonna be safe. It's gonna be fine. Anyway. So you don't see shit. You don't see anything you didn't see before. It's still very much the same place as when you left it. Luckily.
I just wanted to make sure because I know prior there was magic thing that I caught, but I also wanted to be like, especially with the war exciting.
Yeah. Nope, seems cool today. So there's been grass.
It's pretty chill today.
I mean, literally. But also, yes, there's grass and grass
More grass.
and snow. Well, kind of sludgy snow.
But snow.
But yeah.
It's sloosh.
Snow. You know. It's starting to
sloosh.
melt a little bit each day, like it's coming down. So, but now it's kind of got that like both crunchy and yet very wet, like slush kind of vibe. So you're really grateful to be on horses because ooh, that would get all up in your boots,
Yeah.
No, thank you.
and then your feet would get all wrinkly and like ugh.
Ugh.
So luckily that doesn't happen.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Before we, or as
I
we're going,
know.
Uh, there is something that Sakura does want to discuss, because I believe while you didn't show everything, you did show us that there was loot that you got from the spider cave.
Oh, I showed you everything. Yeah.
So, regarding the items that you found from that creature's lair, what all was there? I was not quite in the state of mind to, well, really process a lot of things.
There was a PDB's leather armor. Poor dumb bastard.
I was like, yep.
Dumb bastard.
And he'll pull it. I mean, he's riding in the wagon, so it's not like he can't pull his backpack out and show you
Yeah.
everything. Pulls out a short sword. A silver stag skull amulet.
Yeah, she remembers that because of the bandits. But
A coin purse with 10 gold pieces in it. And a paper, what we presume to be a map, showing a hill with a claw-shaped tree with an X at its roots, marking what is assumed to be treasure. Or, yeah, what is assumed to be treasure?
I don't. She kind of thinks for a moment on how to word it. Would you be opposed to sharing the fruits of your labor? Or, well, what you discovered at least?
Well, is there anything here that anybody wants to repurpose?
Well, that's.
Or do we just sell all of it?
Well, we can certainly sell that if nobody's interested. I know none of the things in there would quite be useful to me. But that's more the reason why I was asking, since you found it. I didn't want to assume that you would share with us. But that's why I'm asking.
Well, is it an issue that I foraged off of a dead body? Because the last time I grabbed anything near something dead, you had an issue with it.
The last time you took from a tomb.
And the difference is?
He died in the wild, unburied. It wasn't something that was supposed to be left undisturbed.
And at no point did I enter said tomb, and you still had an issue.
The only one who entered the giant tomb was me.
Well, no, it's. Well, you didn't enter it. It was clearly
No,
the giant.
I did.
No, she's talking to
Oh,
Grokhan.
Grokhan.
gotcha.
It was clear that the money was from the tomb. It was old and ancient. And I don't fault you for it. It's just not something that I personally would want to partake in, say for the one coin to send to Flora had like this time. As it might pique her academic interests.
Who is this Valara you speak of? And as of a few nights ago, you wanted nothing to do with these coins. What's the change of heart?
No, she did say that she wanted one of the coins.
No, you didn't.
I did. It may have gotten drowned out in everybody else's voices, but I did say that I did want one so that I could send it off. I didn't elaborate that I wanted to send it off.
Well, help me understand something,
Mhm.
Sakura. Help me understand where you're coming from. So now, because we have them, now you want to take one and mail it to somebody. But before, you would have preferred if we didn't take any of them and had put them back in the tomb.
Because
so what is it?
You didn't.
Are we excavating things? Are we collecting things? What are we doing?
You didn't tell us that you had the coins until we made camp. Which by that time we had already moved away from the tomb. If it was at the tomb that you mentioned it, I would have suggested that we put it back.
I know, and you chastised me for that. So what is it? What is it you are wanting to do with things that we collect out here? And who is this Valar character that we're sending money to?
Valar.
Oh, okay. Alright, you're gonna explain. Sorry.
It's fine. Valar is the person who issued the charter to us. She is our patron in this matter and has asked that if we find anything of interest, that we inform her of it. Which is why I think, especially since she studies and she was interested in a lot of the civilizations before, that she would be interested in the coin at the very least. Besides letting her know that somebody might have made off with a giant skull for whatever reason, she could be on the lookout on that in case it comes up in any of her circles. As far as what we find here, I don't mind taking things that are won through battle. Rather it's the spider had killed this man and his loot and his items were left behind. It's different when it's been something that was supposed to remain with a person because they died and that was put within their tomb. It has a different rate. I personally don't like the ideal that something that was taken from the dead in that manner is something I don't want to take part in.
Well, then I'll hold on to it, and you don't have to. Because we didn't desecrate the tomb. It was already desecrated. And leaving something available to be studied or repurposed seems wasteful. Does anybody else have an opinion?
I don't really have an opinion on the matter.
Kana's just gonna hold her hands up. She's like, nope.
That's between you two. I don't really care about the coins, to be honest. Though I will admit, definitely would like some of the gold at some point.
Probably from the
Because I could
purse.
use that for some things, but outside of that. And selling the stuff would be useful as well.
I mean,
I'm in agreement.
we could repurpose the stupid stag necklaces into something. I don't know what. Something.
Could melt it down or sell it, either way.
Yep.
I mean, it is pure silver.
And the map? What was the map again?
It is a hill with a clawed tree on it, with an X at the base of the tree, in the roots.
Scrawled in what appears to be blood.
Scrawled in what? What appears to be what?
What appears to be blood.
The map looks drawn, and then the X appears to be blood. But appears to be.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Curious
Definitely
on what that map
interested in
does.
that to see what that is eventually.
You're right.
But in regards to the coins that are around the tomb, unless they're worth something, I'm not worried about it.
I just left them
Not a
there
big,
because one, I'm
picture, but-
superstitious.
Hmm?
I just left them, the coins that was left there, I left them there because I'm superstitious. You could have figured that out already.
I've seen enough curses to know that when something's already been messed with, the curse is probably gone.
It probably, you're right, but I'm just out of my peace of mind.
That's fair.
All right.
Conversation seemingly resolved as is gonna be. You guys continue on your way. Day is slightly breezy, but fair. The sun is out. It's not bad. And come nighttime, you are able to very easily, obviously, find a nice patch of grass and flat to settle down for the evening and take your rest.
I rolled a 17 survival check to forage.
Okay. So I'll feed a few of you.
So we have enough food to feed
Yeah.
all 4 of us.
Okay. Okay. Food is had then. So,
Are we staying the night in this hex?
yeah, it'll take you till the next day to reach.
Till the next
Early the next day you can reach Olex.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure my brain.
Yeah, but because it's not like right on the border or something, this isn't like a.
Yeah.
You basically make it just to the edge of the hex, and then you'll be able to get the rest of the way, and you'll be there by like lunchtime the next day. Kind of
Make
vibe.
sure my brain was in the right place.
Yeah. But yeah, next day
I'm
you'll
not
reach
turning
Olex.
the wheel right now.
It's all good. Where am I? There I am. I found the correct hex. Viewers, we have discussed this a few times. I'm kind of an overachiever. I have like 49 tabs open for this game alone. So forgive me if it once in a while takes a few clicks for me to figure out which fucking tab I'm on. And then sometimes I have to scroll to the correct page.
It's okay. I do
So-
the same thing.
Yeah, so someday I'll be organized / have another monitor. But today is not that day.
Fair. I do have the advantage that I have 3. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just doing a quick check here. So that way I can just kind of give you guys your info as we go forward. Because if you just don't see anything tonight in general, then I'm just going to go ahead and tell you just have a quiet night. Because that's going to make it easier.
Oh, I forgot a thing.
That's fine. Nope. And. Okay. Cool. Tracking. Now I don't have to roll them through the thing. Okay. So. Did anybody have anything they wish to discuss over dinner, or is it a fairly quiet evening?
Fairly quiet, I think,
Yeah.
from my point of view.
I'm always
No.
quiet.
Well, yeah, I wasn't. I love you, but I wasn't actually talking to you.
I know.
Um,
I just pointed it out so people know. I'm always quiet. It's fine.
yeah. Kana, anything? Okay. Through that evening, during second watch, you do briefly see someone traveling kind of at the edge of your vision. But watching them and observing for a few minutes, you realize it's just a hunter, basically traveling away from Oleg's. Same as you. No, nobody, no, not the one you might recognize, but you can see from their gear and stuff that they set up that it's a hunter. He stays. He gives a wave, but he doesn't camp with y'all. He doesn't bother y'all. Seems like he just wants to be about his business. Otherwise, the night is quiet with nothing of note, and so you have a reasonably restful evening. And the dawn comes.
You're giving me Reveille flashbacks with that.
So, you pack up your materials after another, bland but filling and hot breakfast. And continue on your way to Oleg's. And about a little after lunch, about, a little after midday, you will see it.
Well, it'll be nice not sleeping on the ground for a bit.
Amen to that.
Okay, tracking season.
Hopefully, Maine and was it Norwood that went with him?
I believe so. Let me check my other notes.
Hopefully, Maine and Norwood are back.
So many.
Sakura would be checking on as well.
Uh-huh.
What fucking thing? Fuck. We're gonna say Norwood. At least for now. If I find out it was someone else, we'll go with that. But yeah, it was Norwood.
It was him or Arden. I just don't remember.
I think it was Norwood because I remember in my head I had one of them as like the bard guy, and he's the one that went with Mikey. Which I'll move y'all to Oleg's because that'll tell, and I'll move. There's Oleg's. I went to Oleg's the long way around because that's what I do. Because I remember by what he looks like, and I'm just gonna move them to the GM layer for now because that'll be fine. Yeah, it was Norwood. Which I'm just gonna kind of leave everyone where they were because that just makes life easy because we mostly are using this at this point for being able to pay attention to who's who. But yes, Norwood was the one that departed with Mikey. So.
Sweet.
Yes. So Huzzah, he returned to Oleg's. It's all Oleggy.
We're not dead.
Look at all the not dead you are. I'm so proud of you guys for going on excursion, exploring hexes, and not dying. Very proud of you. Well done.
It only took some rule breaking, but we did it.
Yeah, well, your DM is benevolent, so...
Very, very benevolent.
So benevolent, I hardly even know how benevolent I am.
Also humble.
I am the most humble. I mean, in fact, you don't even know how humble I am. Anyway.
What does this humble you speak of?
Excuse me, can you inform me, what's this humility? Teach me at once. Anyway. But it's bustling a little bit. No new faces or anything, it's the same groups that you're used to, but they're up, they're about, they're doing things, going through their paces. Some of the freed boys have been granted allowances for sticks. They may now have sticks, not for kindling, but as practice weapons. Some of them have been entrusted with stick, so that's an update.
Definitely wouldn't give them shit. Just like, oh, you graduated from nothing to stick.
They have stick now. They're entrusted with stick. Not removing the corks yet, but stick. But you can see who has, and then there are definitely people who have not been entrusted with stick. The people in particular you notice with stick. Cullen has been granted stick.
Actually, yeah, that's definitely someone she'd go fuck with or kind of fuck with. It's just like, congrats.
Let me give them some sort of thing so they have stick now. We're just gonna give them the wrench because that's what I have because there's nothing that's just a stick. So we're gonna go with wrench. They've been entrusted with wrench, so Cullen has stick now. Tino has stick now.
Oh my god.
Little tiny Tino has been trusted with a stick.
He's improved.
You always gotta watch out for those baby-faced assassins.
Bro. And that's it. There was a third person, but you'll find out about that later. Those are the two people that currently possess stick.
If it was halves, I'm gonna question them so fucking hard. I was like, what are you doing?
You'll have to find out on your own.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing Grokhan wants to do is get Yuri unhitched and into the barn and get out of his mountain pattern armor because that shit's heavy and I don't feel the need to wear it here.
Valid.
So, a 16 handle animal check to get Yuri situated.
Fussy, perhaps,
and
but he allows it.
I will get the other horses as well and take them in there as well as Grokhan's doing that so that the girls can go do what they need to do.
All right. Which let me flip to my NPC note page. I have a lot of notes for this game. Just written.
And I know I haven't met him yet, but is Jihad on the map?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. This is him.
He's over here by the stable, in fact.
Okay, got it.
He's conveniently nearby.
Uh-huh.
Well, perfect, because I'll kind of give a nod to him as I walk into the stable, and then when it comes to my turn for role-playing, I would like to talk to him, if he's still there.
Sure. Let me jot this down. Marine. All right. So, who wants to do thing first? What's going on? Since initially Grokhan and Slate are dealing with horses, Kana or Sakura, what are you doing?
Sakura's gonna go find either Oleg or Lana.
Okay.
And see about getting some paper and ink.
Okay.
To write a letter.
Okay.
While she's looking for them, she's also trying to keep an eye out to see if... to see if Marine or Norwood has returned.
Those are two different things, because paper and stuff's gonna be inside their house. Just so you know.
No, I mean, like, as she's going over to them.
Okay,
like, she's just glancing around.
Make a perception check.
While that's going on, Kana's gonna see if she can find a place where she can bathe and freshen herself up.
Okay. Easy enough to find out that... No, not really.
Well, any other way to make herself...
I mean, yeah, you can basically take a sink bath. That is something that could be arranged, like, with actual hot water even. Just, it would take a while to create some sort of bath that wouldn't be schnell.
Yeah.
But easy enough for Lana to warm up, like, some water by the fire. And within, half an hour to an hour, you could have a reasonable, like, pot, bowl kind of thing of at least, if you added additional water so you have more of it, you could have like a small basin of, I say basin and I'm doing this. But you could get some hot water and stuff and be able to, go into a room and clean yourself up with
That
a cloth and
works.
stuff. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. It's enough to wash your hair at the end if you want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What was that perception check?
Oh, 19.
19? You do not see any signs of them.
Okay.
And going in, they have limited supplies of paper, but they do have some. And they are willing to give you a sheet. It's a bit rougher than you're used to. They probably make it themselves, even, because that's a thing you can do. But they have it for writing down inventory and stuff, and so they're willing to give you a sheet and simple, chicken feather quill kind of thing, goose feather to write a letter if you'd like. There is one waiting for you guys when you return. It is a brief missive written in Mining's hand that states basically that due to these storms, some of the paperwork that he is supposed to fill out has been delayed, and so he is unsure of his precise return date, but he is eager to return, and he has much to discuss.
Okay.
Signed, your friend, me. My friends. Starts with my friends. Written out, because he's like that. But yeah, just due to the weather, which you could presume is probably the weather that y'all experienced as well with that big snowstorm, that as it moved north, it delayed things a bit.
Okay.
So.
While we're in the stables,
Yes.
me and Grokhan are in the stables working with the horses, I'm gonna look over at Grokhan and be like, hey, I got a question for you. What are you...
He'll look up.
What are you wanting to do about Bakan's brother?
Well, I don't get the vibe that he is lying to us.
Don't either.
I'm not the type to just walk out and murder somebody without talking to them.
Fair.
Especially with no evidence.
Fair.
But if his brother makes Bakken feel terrified, and we know how crazy Bakken comes across,
How crazy can he be?
it shouldn't be overly difficult to determine whether or not he's a viable candidate for threat removal.
That's what I was thinking as well.
So the problem will be, can we keep the sisters from putting themselves in a compromised position that makes it difficult if we have to deal with him?
Yeah. That's the thing I was worried about. Believe me, it took every ounce not to just... And then you just see him kind of have that, like, smirk, but, like, anger behind it as he talks. Or as they talk. It took everything to not just want to go find him and deal with him myself. Of course, I'm pretty sure I couldn't. But the one is there.
Well, if we get into such arguments over just wanting to address potential threats, I can only imagine what she'll say to us if you just often gut the guy like a fish.
Fair.
And while I'm not opposed to, filleting somebody who deserves it, I'd rather not create enemies within these walls.
Yeah, you have a point. This is a little different situation than what I'm used to. So, that makes sense.
I'm used to a crew of 15 other guys and gals who would put an axe in you for looking at them wrong. So yeah, I get it.
You're used to that, and I'm used to just nobles just being an absolute fucking piece of shit. And not putting axes into people. But sometimes some people need it.
Tis better to know where you stand with people, even if it is at the end of a blade.
True.
But, fit in till you get in sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Which is why we argued so much while we were out there, because sometimes fitting in isn't the right answer.
Yeah. Definitely see that. I can definitely see that.
But
Hopefully we will.
hopefully,
Go with it.
hopefully, there's some progress.
I'll be honest, this is going to be a situation where I'll have to see it to believe it kind of thing.
Well, I don't know how many spider holes you have to get drugged down to realize things want to kill you, but hopefully, it only takes one.
We'll see how it
So,
goes. I just figured I'd bring that up to you because that's definitely something that's been on my mind since we talked about it.
that's fair. That's fair. Is there any particular reason why that really sticks you in the ribs?
And he just kind of looks over at the horse as he thinks about it. My father beat the shit out of my mother when I was younger.
Now, remind me, out of character here, remind me, what weapon does Slate openly carry that is visible?
A light crossbow.
That's it?
Yep. He's a ranged person.
Grokhan will pull the short sword out of his bag and hand it to him, hand it to Slate.
I'll take it.
Keep it sharp, just in case you have to gut him like a fish.
Thank you.
And,
throw it away.
And then on the way out, Grokhan will look for the priestly-looking fellow that he walked by.
Okay. Sakura, I assume this round of roleplay initiative, you are writing the letter to Valara.
Yep.
What does it say, roughly? You don't have to do exactly, but, what do you cover?
I let her know mostly that it was a slow start. We made it feel safely. However, Army and Sven have left our ranks. We've teamed up with a few other people who seem reliable that we're considering having them come in on the charter.
Okay.
She would stress that she does trust them with her life because, they saved her. But she'll tell her also about the Fae encounters that they've had, as well as the warg and the tomb of the giant, and let her know that the most curious thing about it is that somebody had desecrated the tomb and taken the skull of the giant, and we're not quite sure why. But let them know what we found out about it, and that it does seem to be the grave of somebody who was favored by the Fae.
Okay.
Was it Blightblade?
Witherblade.
Witherblade.
Yeah, it was Weatherblade.
Yep.
Okay. So, Ami and Saren out, new party in, trust them, Fang counters Warg, giant tomb desecrated, favored by Fae.
Yep.
Okay, just make sure I had everything down. Cool, got it, tracking. I got you. Kana, after freshening up considerably and scrubbing probably remnant spider goo
Yeah.
dried from your, we'll say under your nails. I'll be nice. What would you like to do now that you're fresh?
Think she's gonna kind of go up and see if she can find Slate and chat up with him.
Okay. So you seek out Slate.
Mm-hmm.
He's somewhere. I'm sure after the conversation, he's probably finishing with the horses and probably moved over by the fire and is looking through his book.
She's gonna sit nonchalantly sit next to him. It's just like, so, been thinking about something.
Oh, what's that?
It's the thing. Like, what are you wanting to do when it comes to if we ever find that crazy man's brother?
And you see him kind of smirk as he closes the book. Well, if he is actually a threat, and with how crazy Bakken is, find a way to get rid of him would be nice. Especially if he's a threat to y'all's charter.
Well, this is the first I've heard of this person, so.
I mean, that's fair, and I can understand that. And whatever we end up doing with him, it would be best to just, go in cautious, just in case. At the very least.
And just for out of character thing, like he was like abusive physically, correct? Okay. Because that conversation was fuzzy to me for a little bit.
Yeah, Bakken clarified that, or stated outright that beat the shit out of our mom. And also did off Bakken's
and women.
Yeah, and women in general, but he did not elaborate for that. But basically, he said wife beater and mother beater. So at some point, he was probably in some sort of relationship with a woman, and did the same thing.
So, as Kana's remembering that conversation again, she kind of shifts a little bit. I don't take kindly to men like that. Neither does so.
Well, that makes two of us. I'm not really a fan of what Bakken told us. Though we don't really have proof, I'm still...
Yeah, I'm taking what he said with a grain of salt, but...
If it is true.
I have no issue with beating his brains in.
And he kind of stops for a second as he looks down at his book before he side glances at her. He goes, but your sister does.
I know. It is quite obvious I'm more bloodthirsty than she is.
I know. I've seen. I saw.
That's kind of the downside of how her and I grew up. She was more she was more sheltered, whereas I experienced a lot of stuff like that. So the women that one of the courtesans I was under an apprenticeship with, I had seen other courtesans from other houses get beaten by patrons drunkenly, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I've seen that more times than I would like to. And a lot of those men didn't live long enough to find out how that would go. Not by my hands, of course. But by others.
There, I love my sister to death. I do, but I don't think this pacifist thing is going to work out for much longer.
I'll be honest, I don't know if it will either. Especially if she's working with kingdoms. I mean, they're. And he seems kind of like. His head just kind of like twitches to the side for a second. And he'll actually fully look at her. Or they will fully look at her. Somebody like her in a bad spot could lead to a lot of manipulation from their part. That's what I worry about for her. I don't know you all well enough to know exactly how you are. However, I do worry that she will be put in a bad spot.
And used as a puppet.
Yes. And with how much experience I've had with nobles through my time, I would hate for her to be put in that place.
Which I'll feel more at ease about it when Maine returns. Because he's a noble, he knows the signs. So we can take pointers from him.
That's true.
But this is definitely something we're going to have to discuss more with her. And we probably should bring up the Bakken's brother thing.
He seemed just kind of sigh as he's like thinking about between the conversation with you and the conversation with Grokhan. But you don't know that. But that's what he's thinking about. Yeah, might be a good idea to bring it up with her.
Because if this brother is like how I'm thinking is, there's no way of talking to him.
Yep. And that's what worries me in the end is that he isn't going to be willing to conversate, and he's going to be an immediate threat to both us and the charter you all have. We'll have to get to that at some point. Probably best to let your sister have her day for now. Bring it up and then tomorrow.
I agree. Glad we're on the same page.
Yep, me too. Honestly, didn't know if you were going to be honest.
That just shows we need to get to know each other a little bit.
That is a fair opinion. Or truth. That's a fair truth.
I'm not gonna let being pushed around, and if needs to be, I won't even let diplomacy even be an option if it comes to that. If it gets that bad.
Good to know. Because I have to be honest, I am a little worried about that.
As I told Grokhan, I will put my life in front to protect those who I care about. I don't care whose head I need to bash over. I don't care.
It's good to have that thought path, but you have to be careful. Especially if you're putting your life on the line for somebody who doesn't want to listen. And I'm not talking about your sister, I'm just talking about people in general.
Mm-hmm. So it probably wouldn't be a good idea whenever we start talking to kingdoms and other things. I shouldn't be in the room.
That's a that's a fair thought, actually. I've seen you go off, especially like on Grokhan and stuff. So I can see why you say that.
Well, I'll leave you to your studying. Won't bug you anymore.
You weren't bugging me. I was just making sure my spells were in place that I wanted to have for the next couple days.
Mm.
Needed to make sure they were set up the way I would like.
And she gives a nod and like stands up. Probably gonna go fuck with go mess with the boys that got sticks.
I'll watch her leave as she goes to fuck with the guys with sticks.
Yep.
Before returning to my book.
And with new friendship forged in bloodthirst.
Basically.
I want to fuck. So, hey, you know that guy? Yeah, I know that guy. I don't like him. I don't like him either. You want to beat the shit out of him? You want to beat the shit out of him? Let's beat the shit out of him. Let's beat the shit out of him. But wait, let's talk about it first. Let's talk about it first. But then we're gonna beat the shit out of him. We're totally gonna beat the shit out of him. Cool. Bro, no. Done. I just summarized that entire scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Grokhan. It is not hard to find Jihad. He is he's nearby. You note that he doesn't he kind of stays near the group of boyos, as I like to call them, but he is not part of them, and they basically do not acknowledge him much. At least not in the midst of things. You get kind of the impression it's very much like he's overseeing and watching them kind of vibe, but he is definitely not part of like the training regiment and such. But he's nearby, so it's not hard to find him. Certainly. He is shorter than you, which is not hard. Go figure. He's actually a pretty short dude in general. Just human heights in this time period. He's biblically proportioned. Kind of thin, sandy on top, kind of a drawn face. Still looks like a guy who travels a lot and has been out in the elements a lot, but maybe doesn't take as good care of himself as he should. Probably a little better now that he's been staying here, but still looks like a pretty thin, dare I say mousy kind of guy. A bit older. He looks like the youth pastor that, like, the other kids really didn't want to hang with. That's usually how I described him. Because I know you weren't here for his intro. But yeah, he's the one that's like, y'all, if you do this kind of vibe. So, that's who you see, plain, traveling robes. That sort of thing.
With a 22 perception, do I notice any like minuscule details? Can I tell what he does for a living?
Oh, easy enough to see. Primarily, the thing you do note is that he is wearing very sturdy traveling boots at all times, despite maybe the rest of it seeming kind of cheap, or not cheap in like a quality sense, but just very practical. Nothing fancy about anything he's wearing, but the boots are, while not fancy, sturdy. That seems to be the one major thing he takes care of. And he does have a wooden, in this case, holy symbol of Erastil. You do recognize that it's Erastil pretty easily. Since, communities, brave boy, not hard to gather.
Mm-hmm.
Very common symbol in this region. With a 22, I will give you the bonus that despite the very, the demeanor is very calm and, kind of demeanor, his eyes are taking in something about these guys. Like, you're not sure what he's looking for or what he's trying to observe, but he's watching them, very intensely. It's less just casual observation than he first appears.
Well, I'll approach and extend my arm to grasp his forearm in a handshake. Brother of Erastil, how are you, sir?
And he, for a second, he kind of pauses, like, what? Oh, yes, and grasps you, and it's not a strong grasp. You know, it's not a bad one. And grasps your forearm as well and says, I'm afraid we haven't met, but thank you for asking. I'm doing well, I think. And of you?
Happy to be back in here. And he's hung his mountain pattern armor up in the barn near his hammock, so rolls the shoulders a little bit and says, it's nice to be free of the heavy armor I've been wearing. Heavy in weight, guys, not type. Heavy armor I've been wearing while we've been out the last few weeks.
Well, I could imagine. It's always nice to be able to remove the burden.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm Grokhan, by the way.
Grokhan, Jihad.
Nice to meet you, Jihad. So do tell me, what has your attention so rapt before I approached?
And he kind of laughs a little and says, well, this outpost, obviously, while Mr. Keston and his men are very capable, they are simply few in number. And I've been amongst various villages and small towns and the like that needed protecting. So I like to extend my voice where necessary and perhaps recommend who might be trustworthy to take on some responsibility around here and elsewhere eventually.
I see.
I am not, unfortunately, very skilled in that manner myself.
Well, I mean, not everybody in the community has a responsibility to that action.
Indeed. Some are strong, like yourself and Miss Kana, and others are more like me, and we are a little more about placing individuals within the community and guiding them.
Never hurts to help. It never hurts to have a good nurturer within the group.
Precisely. And it
So
seems
tell
to
me.
have a fair one.
My mother was the seer of our village and a devout Aristilian. And I personally am more of a Canaanite, but that happens when you're on ship for multiple years in a row.
That is fair enough. Your current nurturer, and he kind of gestures towards Oleg's house, which is the last place he saw her, is also Rastilian, so I can imagine that must feel familiar. In a way.
And Grokhan's face will kind of like wet his palate a couple times and look at Jihad and be like, we really have a differing of opinion.
That's fair. Many do.
It can be challenging. There is a level of taking the nurturing too far and not being stern enough with the discipline in the house, to put it in terms that might be familiar to you.
That's fair. Every new mother sometimes has to learn when to be gentle with the child and when to have a sterner hand.
I would agree. A good captain keeps control. But that does not explain what brings a brother of Erastil to a rugged place like this with so few and far between for his flock.
That's fair enough. I was guided here by the old Deadeye himself. He was kind enough to grant me visions of where I was most needed, and tasks to put before me that I might accomplish while I'm here.
How many of these poor boys have you converted?
None yet. But in time, I have faith and hope that there's a few receptive ears, even if they're not ready to embrace just yet. Perhaps once there's more of a community, they will see the reason that it might be helpful.
So have these visions brought you here to Oleg's trading post, or is there a further destination for you?
Further, mostly there's, from what I can tell, the visions, as you can imagine, are vague at best. But there does seem to be a location of some variety, a temple, a holy place of His Graciousness that is plagued by. In my dreams, it is a bear, to be honest, but I'm not sure how literal that should be interpreted. But in my dreams, it is a man in the shape of a bear that is tortured by his own sin. I have discussed it with some of your compatriots, but I understand that the undertaking is not ideal in current circumstances, and with their other companion, Lord Mr. I'm not sure, Maine, currently indisposed. I can understand why they may wish to wait until their full strength has returned. Though I do hope that if my dreams are true, that that individual is not suffering too much in the meantime.
Well, if they are a bear, in the literal sense, they should be hibernating this time of year.
That is true.
So maybe at least if they are in suffering, it's subsided enough for some rest.
I should hope so.
I'll keep that in mind, Brother Jihad.
I appreciate that.
Not that I have much sway, but you can understand my reticence to guide this group deep into the... Well, I don't foresee a temple of Erastil being located anywhere in an unwooded area.
Certainly not. I can understand caution, and would advise it myself. I
But
will
if we do
say,
stumble upon it,
I will say, if y'all are headed in the directions we suspect, you can. I've guided your compatriots as best I can on that matter, but should y'all need assistance of the healing and clerical types, I do have some humble gifts in that manner, and would be happy to extend them.
that is good to know. When diving into the unknown, it never hurts to have someone who can patch a wound here and there.
Of course. And if it is a temple, I will be happy to dedicate myself, and kind of gestures at the practice boys and any willing individuals of reasonable trustworthiness to go about fixing it. Making sure that it is a place where the community can gather with safety and peace.
Understood. Understood. I thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening. That's rarer than you might think.
Can't learn anything without listening.
True enough.
And he nods over at Slade sitting at the picnic table. I've been traveling with that one for a couple months now, and they do not like to do much other than listen.
I have noticed their generally quiet demeanor. It's hard not to. Kind of like when you're walking by to get yourself another bowl of stew and you look over and suddenly there's a shadow behind you and then you realize the shadow's actually a person. It's a little disquieting at times, but he seems a nice sort. If you travel with him, obviously he is capable.
Slate is a very reliable companion.
There's often little more we can ask for than such.
And then, in closing, Grokhan will extend his arm again for another handshake, And when they grasp forearms, he'll say, and to you potentially being one as well.
I appreciate that. And this time the handshake is, you can see he kind of actually tries a little harder this time. It's not just kind of that uncertain, like, oh, hi. Like, this time it's like, yeah, all right. So, and he seems, you look at him, like, as you're departing, and the demeanor is slightly different. It's less, well, no less intense technically. There is more of a, like, upright to the way he's holding his shoulders, and he seems, all right, let's go, about things.
And then after that, Grokhan wants to find Keston.
All right, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Whee! Going around the bend again. Sakura, you finished writing your letter.
I'm going to try to find Lana to give it to, or see how to get it delivered to.
She is literally in the next room. So, easy enough.
After she gives it to her, she'll ask, has anything interesting happened since we've been gone, or have things been particularly quiet?
It's pretty quiet. The boys seem to be settling in a little better now. Probably helps that the weather's improving a little bit. I mean, even that sourpuss Haps has been more pleasant, and I never thought I'd say that. So I have been trying to maybe give him a little less of a hard time since he's pulling his weight. Least I could do. But I'm watching him. Like a hawk. One step out of line, he is back on his ass in the snowbanks, I tell you what.
Oh, I mean, at least everybody's getting along. That's good to hear.
Yeah, and there's a couple of the boys who are really making some progress, I'd say. Tino. Yeah, Tino stepped up. He found his voice. I'm proud of him. Yeah, the boys went out one day. They were gathering kindling and stuff, you know, and we mostly trusted him with that. I mean, how hard can you fuck up a stick? You'd be surprised. But this time he did just fine. But, it just seemed different. It seemed like he figured something out. And, since then, he's really found his voice. He's becoming a little man. You'd be surprised how charming he is, too.
Well, he does have a certain charm to him, I suppose.
He is cute. You're right. But now it's less like cute, like, oh, I want to pat your head and pin a little money bag to your chest and send you along your way to find your mama. And now it's like actually kind of cute in a he's a person kind of way. Nobody kicked his puppy recently kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So watch out. Tony's got competition.
I doubt that.
Well, then you're in for a surprise. But anyway, don't let me be talking your ear off. What are you up to? You're the one traveling lands and having all the exciting adventures. Excuse me, I can't even talk. There's wine in the stew tonight, and I may have partaken in a little bit myself.
Oh, it'd be nice to have some real food again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say wine. I was going to say, I'm sorry, I used the rest. Well,
Oh, and it's never been really my
I used the rest of it.
No, it's... We met Boken and saw some...
Boken! He's a character.
Those are nice words. Don't
His
think that he
potions
would
are great.
agree.
And he probably would, which is pretty contrary to his nature, to be fair. But it's potions. I get some of these I'm not going to say what they're for, because that's more married lady talk, and I love you, honey, but you're not married yet. But I get some potions from him sometimes, or at least I used to, last year or so. They taste tasty, and, Oleg doesn't complain, and neither do I.
Fucking get it, Lana.
I had a... Oh, Well, he wouldn't let us see what type of potions that he had. He wants us to do some things for him first. Which I
Fair
suppose
enough.
seems fair, but... And we found a tomb out there.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
It's interesting, because... Have you ever heard of Weatherblade?
Well, oh gosh. I hadn't heard about him since I was a wee girl.
It's his grave.
Holy balls. I don't know what to say to that. I was going to say about 12 other things, and that's what came out.
It's interesting seeing where the stories come from, sort of, proving that it's real in some ways.
Because every story has a grain of truth in it. Just because the rest of the stew is made of bullshit and such doesn't mean that there's not still a nice little nugget of real. Especially around these parts. You haven't seen nothing yet. Have you met any of the Fae?
I have, actually.
Oh.
Uh,
I
two
hope
of
it went
them.
well. Oh, two. Wow.
Their names were Tig and Prolavesh.
You don't say. How's Perlavash doing? Hasn't been by in a while.
They were doing okay. The last we saw them, they were going to see someone, I believe.
Oh, hell.
They
I
had
hope
other
they have-
things to do, at the very least.
They're Fae. They always have other things to do, honey. Yeah, a few years ago, when I first moved here, I was real fucking lonely. I'm sure you can imagine it was even more barren than it is nowadays. And, well, I went to the forest looking for some mushroom stuff for the dinner that night and got lost, as you do. Forest is big. And Perlavash and Tig braided my hair for me because I was crying and they felt bad. They're
sweet.
sweetheart. Well,
They are.
they're sweethearts as far as Faye goes. I wouldn't trust them to watch any firstborn, but they're pretty good with hair.
But we... And her hand would kind of go to her stomach where she was punctured. Got into...
She completely misconstrues that since she was just talking about firstborns. Looks at your stomach, looks at you, looks at your stomach, looks at you, and goes, Tino hasn't been a charmer that long.
No, we ran into some dangerous creatures, and that's just...
Babies tend to be.
No.
If you need tea or anything, you just talk to me, honey.
No.
Like any
I
kind of
almost
food, you know what I'm
died.
saying? Oh, that's bad. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
That is a completely different life experience.
Yeah, got some spare fangs right to the gullet.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Well, but you got better, so that's good.
I mean, yeah. Both Grokhan and Slate, my sister, of course, all help get me out and get me better, but it happened so quick and didn't even have
That
time
is
to
how
react.
those life and death situations tend to happen, is real fucking fast. Just
I knew it would be dangerous out here.
Mhm.
Just always thought that I would have a chance to defend myself if something happened. It's a bit eye-opening. But
you
that,
something. No, you go first. I'm so sorry.
I was just gonna say that's about all the exciting things that we found.
Well, I think that's plenty for a lifetime. Thank you very much. You found it. You found out fairy tales are real. You met some fae. You met some other people. You almost died. Like, that's a lot for a week. Whatever. Week, 2 weeks? I don't even know. I've lost track of time. This wine is real good. But anyway, can I ask you something? And please, if I am out of line, you just tell me. I will apologize 10 times over. But If you will forgive me, you don't really seem the adventuring type. Are you sure this is what you want? Because there's room here if you want to stay, honey. I just don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. You know? Oh gosh, look, now I've made you cry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I've been thinking about it a lot. Since Ami and Sven left.
Of course.
But my entire life I've stayed behind. I don't want to be like that anymore.
That is fair enough.
Besides, I still hold on to hope that I can do some good out here. Make the world a better place.
Well, I certainly think that's possible. It's pretty much a shithole already, so I mean, you can't do any worse. I'm kidding. Well, not that you can do. You know what I mean.
I do.
But you got a good heart, and she pokes you kind of like breastbone. If you got a good heart in there, and these lands are gonna try to crush it like an acorn under a boot. And they may be able to, who knows. But if it does, just remember that every acorn is a tree. And you're gonna go, Brig, wow, I'm sorry. Motivational speeches are hard.
Especially when you've had a lot of
Big
life.
and strong with your big old branches and your leaves up with the sun, and the sun's gonna shine down, you're gonna grow bigger and stronger, and have a whole bunch of acorns yourself, when you're ready, of course, and with the right individual, if that's what you're into. And you let me know if it is, because, oh, honey, I will help you every step of the way. Let me tell you what. Anyway, I know some people. And I have a few tricks. You haven't tried a moonradish salad yet, have you? Anyway. But when we get that far, you have all your little acorns, and that's going to be a whole different adventure. But until then, well, these menfolk are childish enough. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
A little bit.
So you go out there, and you take care of your people, and you take care of these lands, and you make a home out of this shithole. Like I did, mostly. Kind of a small area of shithole, to be fair, but I don't have a nice horse like you do. I just have Claptrap. He's a nice boy.
He is a good boy.
More wine.
I think you drank it all.
I didn't. I don't remember pouring that.
Fucking love Lana.
Anyway. And you don't seem the vulgar type, but if you need Oleg, he's a great masseuse. And what happens in Oleg's trading post can stay in Oleg's trading post, you know what I mean? I don't think you need it, but I'm offering services just in case. Because I like you. You're nice.
Thank you. I
Oh, you're welcome, honey.
don't think that that's something I can. Thank you, but no. But
Fine, it's not like you can produce any acorns at this point anyway.
no, there'll be somebody eventually, I hope.
I mean,
But-
there are a few lookers. Just saying. You got one here at home. You got one out on the road. Maybe you have one in the forest. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. I'm only going to judge you if you don't tell me about it.
It's nothing like that. I mean, even with Tony, it's complicated, I guess. But
They mostly are. It's because they're stupid.
But thank you. I feel a bit
course.
better.
Good. I feel great, so I'm glad I could spread some of that cheer.
Speaking of, do you need any help with the stew?
Oh no, I think it's about done. I'm just waiting for some of the wine to cook out so it's not quite so festive.
Well, if you'd like, I'd be happy to stay and keep you company till it's done.
I mean, I will gladly sit here and tell you all sorts of secrets. You're a young woman. You need someone to guide you on the way. And let me tell you, I got a few stories. And she goes into the storage room and you find out there's a second bottle of wine.
uh, and I don't mind ending that scene here, but one of the things she is going to ask eventually is how the boar meat's coming along, because I know that they were trying to treat that a bit.
Yeah, it's just, she basically just says, it's gonna take a while, salted and dry, and just takes for fucking ever. But it's coming along as expected.
Okay.
A few of them she rubbed with some, some of the extra peppers and stuff she has to make,
Spicy.
some a little more kick. So on and so forth. But it's coming along as expected.
Okay.
Cool. Otherwise, she's going to spend some time telling you some outrageous stories about things, some of which you'll probably not wish to hear. But she tells them so cheerfully that you find yourself laughing.
I think it would be laughing more of awkwardness than...
Oh, for sure. But she tells you just how good that moonrise salad she mentioned and what it's used for.
Gotcha.
I feel like eventually Kana would join in at least part of that conversation.
I can imagine Kana walking in about the time she says, and he was tossing it like Caesar, let me tell you what. Because apparently Caesar is a salad artist in Galarian somewhere. As of now. So, with that incredibly cheerful conversation happening, it does perhaps get a little more vulgar by the time Kana starts coming in, because now it's like, oh honey, we can exchange innuendos. She is a little more drunk by that point as well. She does not drink often, but she enjoys herself some wine. She's been saving this.
Yeah, my question is going to be, why is she drinking so much? What happened?
Exactly.
I'm gonna say jihad is my guess.
Jihad did something.
Well, it wasn't Haps, because she was actually kind of fond of Haps in the conversation earlier.
So, I think that's a good place to take our break for now, since we're about halfway through. Do y'all need 5 or 10? Or do you want 10? Whatever. You tell me. Do 10? Alright,
10.
so we'll be back at, quarter after.
Okay.
7:15.
Cool. Yep, cool.
Wee, where's the BRB? Got it.
Sex Metal Barbie I felt fit more with Tommy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I thought it'd be good, like, a fighting thing for her.
Yeah, for
Fighting
sure.
for life.
Cool. Welcome back to Svetlana pours a shot for the stew and drinks the rest, apparently. Just gonna do one little shot. Anyway. Indeed.
Hey, it's a
For
shot for
viewers-
a giant.
For viewers at home, this is not wine. I just like fancy cups. This is cola.
It's
I'm-
Coke. Hell yeah.
But I'm a fancy motherfucker, so I
Yeah,
don't.
I would too.
Hot chocolate with marshmallows, rainbow, in my fancy cup. Oh yeah. Do not hesitate to use your
Fucking
fancy
yeah.
shit, y'all. Do it. Treat yourself. Anyway. Plus, it looks really good on camera because it's just dark, so you can't tell. So.
I think it's Slate's turn.
Yeah, Slate. Look at you. What you want to do now?
I'm probably, let's be real. I know what they're doing.
Let's be real. Be real with me.
They're probably sitting there writing down the conversation they just had with Kaneko.
Dear
And making-
Pirate, you won't believe the shit that just went down.
basically just adding in the notes, looking over the face shit that has happened in his book, or in their book, contemplating a couple things, and the only thing I can think about is he'll look for Grokhan again after a little bit.
I gotta go tell him.
Yeah,
You can find him.
So eventually when he finds him, he's like, "Is there anybody around us as I find him?"
Make a perception check. Dear Grokhan, you won't believe the shit that just went down.
24.
Let's find out.
I almost said 14, and I was like, nope, that's wrong. It's 24.
Let's find out. No.
No, okay.
I rolled a 1, so that's where that was.
Oh,
So there ain't nobody. They're doing something.
They're doing other stuff.
They're doing
Something
stuff
going
and
on.
things. Probably outside the walls. We'll say they're mostly outside the walls, so it's pretty abandoned inside now.
So, when they find Grokhan, they're like, so, I talked to Kaneko,
And
and he just kind of looks confused. They look confused as they say this, and they're like, they also want to deal with this man.
it really stuck with you guys, didn't it?
I mean, you're right. It did. I just guess I didn't expect her to go against her sister's wishes, but then again, I don't know her as well as, like, you. So, it's a little different.
You really don't.
I mean, fair.
It is hard to get a feel for Kaneko.
You're not
it-
wrong there.
But if even she isn't wanting to follow Sakura's wishes, makes you wonder what the other two who left thought. Like there's just an unsettling vibe. It'll be very interesting when Mayene gets back and we can see how that interaction goes.
Well, I am aware that from what I have overheard prior to us leaving, that the two prior didn't have a good relationship with the other three. Didn't seem to. See, it's good I listen.
I never question your powers of observation. It's never wise to question your powers of observation.
Very useful in certain situations. But from what I know, the two prior, they didn't have such a good. I had to actually go back in my notes to remember what I knew. They didn't have at least one of them and Sakura had issues and butted heads, from what I know.
Was it the same issues we're having, or I'm having, or were they different issues?
I didn't really get that much information. I just know that they had issues and Sakura seemed very concerned and worried, but at the same time, they brought up the fact that they were having issues prior. Not exactly what it was about. This was on the day that we arrived.
Right. I remember you saying something. Still, very interesting that the both of you are concerned about Bakken's brother despite a desecrated tomb, a large funnel web spider, and a potential warg that we see stalking us. This is fascinating.
I won't lie. I am 100% concerned about that warg as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm still concerned about that warg. That warg is not left my mind either.
In character, Kata doesn't really know what a warg is.
Okay. However, that warg is definitely on the front row of my mind, especially because of how close it is.
Well,
and to be fair, I've been around more humans than creatures. And creatures and humans are pretty fucking dangerous.
Fair and valid point. Hopefully that warg will approach to negotiate instead of just picking us off.
That would be nice, honestly. I can't say that I don't want to deal with that as well when the chance is given. But I think because of how crazy Bakken is, and not knowing anything about this person except for what we know of, and because of Bakken, he's a little bit of a concern for me.
Can you do me a favor? And he'll hand the armor and the stag's necklace to Slate and say, seek Oleg out and trade these with him for some coin. And while you're talking to him, ask him if he knows anything about Bakken's brother. And see if he can validate any of that story.
I will do that. And I'll take the armor and the stag necklace. It's a little bit of an issue, but it's not too much of a problem. Actually, I think I could have a spell for that set up that I just haven't done that yet.
Cool. And Grokhan will kind of give you a nod and head up to the ramparts to try and find Keston. He's going to try and see if we can locate him.
Okay. I'll go find Oleg. That'll be the next round.
You're on mute.
You're still muted.
You're still muted! Oh! Jeez. Pop-Tart.
I was like, is Pop-Tart talking? I can't tell when you were looking down, and then I was like, oh.
No, I was writing note.
Oh.
And I was saying we'll come back to that in a minute. Do you want to go ahead and do the Keston scene next, or do we want to since you just kind of had one dish.
You are welcome to rotate.
Okay, in that case, can you do me a favor while I do this? Because I know
Yes.
you know how selling items and stuff works.
Yes, I can calculate it.
Thank you. Do you need the...
No,
Okay.
it's
Nope.
50%, and I believe the
No, I was going to tell you how much the
necklaces
stag necklace is. That was all.
Yeah, 10 silver pieces, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Ah,
Excuse me. Big necklace. Excuse me. Yeah, looks like it. But yeah, I believe that is so, yes.
the armor will be 5 gold pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I would add in that conversation because my brain is dying right now. However, that Kanako wants to talk to her sister about the.
What just happened?
I have no idea what though.
Neither do I, and that's why I'm kind of holding on. It's like everything okay? But she's doing things, so I guess we'll find. Oh, I think somebody was not feeling well up there.
Yeah, it looks like somebody got sick.
Yeah.
A rogue
Okay.
shinobi, it looks like. I know
Yeah.
shinobi hangs out up there.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I would add in the fact that Kanako did want to talk to her sister, and I suggested that we wait until the next day to let her have a day to herself.
yeah, that's fine.
Of everything that's going on, and since I probably didn't see Maine as well.
Right.
Well, we were in the stable when the horses weren't back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would still notice though they were, not there. So
Yeah.
I'm big brain. It's okay.
it's okay.
Pull the big brain.
Big brain, yes. But in that case, I'm gonna rotate back around. I was gonna ask her, but actually, I'll give her one more second since she's heading back, and then I can ask if she's okay. But yeah, it looks like it was just a pet incident.
You
Everything
okay?
okay there? Pet
Uh,
incident?
Cat got sick on
Okay.
stuff.
That's what we thought. We just figured we'd, check in with you. Is there anyone else Sakura would like to talk to this evening, or do you just want to hang out with Lana for the rest of the night, kind of thing?
I mean, until dinner at the very least. She'll probably try to look out for Tony later, but
Okay.
right now, until dinner happens, there's not really much else that I have planned.
Okay. So Lana till dinner, and then after dinner there might be one or two things. Yeah. Okay. And I'm just gonna check in. Kana, anything on your end?
No, not really that I can think of at the moment.
Okay. And I assume same for Slate? Besides the
Except
Oleg
for-
thing, which we'll...
Except for the Oleg thing we'll get to.
Okay. So we'll jump down to Grokhan, we'll do Slate, and then we'll have dinner.
Yep.
Sound good for everybody?
Yep.
So Grokhan. Easy enough to find Keston. Listen to the sounds of misery.
All the men groaning.
So, as he finds Keston, he'll approach. Keston of Landscaress, how are you, sir?
Doing as well as can be expected.
Sense motive. Natural 1.
Shit be up, yo.
Okay?
You think, you're like,
Okay.
There's something.
Is there a problem?
Not at the moment, no. I don't... Is there a problem?
I just caught a tone in your voice, and it had me concerned.
I think that's just my natural tone.
Fair enough.
My mother always said I inherited her concerned eyebrows.
Ah, the quirky things our mothers have said.
She was quite a woman. Is there something I can assist you with?
Say that again?
Is there something I can assist you with?
I'm curious. I'm curious. What is the plan for these reformed bandits?
Not mine to make. I am simply here to protect the trading post and have somewhat adopted these ragtag individuals because, to be perfectly honest, they were pathetic. I am just trying to make them slightly less so, and capable for whatever plans your compatriots may have for them. But I have not been informed of any just yet.
How are we doing from supplies and rations?
Always tight. There's quite a few individuals here nowadays, but we manage. A few of them have been trusted for some hunting now. Pickings are slim due to the weather, but we bring in enough.
Do you think there are enough of them trustworthy enough to build their own settlement?
How many would be required? That's really the question.
As many as would want to go.
Understood. And he kind of looks at, and he looks out kind of at the group of them. He says, I would entrust likely 4 or so of them at the moment. I wonder if we could get the father to be agreeable to a temporary change of scenery.
I can think that to be a good idea.
I would certainly entrust Cullen. And he kind of points him out. He's gesturing as he's talking, so you know who he's talking about. And you can see Cullen's just a big fucking mofo. Says he's proven himself fairly trustworthy, even to the point of doing individual tasks with, and say, enthusiasm. He's not a very excitable fellow, but purpose, and he genuinely seems to wish to do something else with his life. I would entrust him as a general leader of any group we send, but perhaps having a bit of moral guidance as well, so much as Jihad can provide. Might do them good.
There's a copse of trees a couple kilometers past Bakken's hut.
Alright.
That has enough wood supply to easily build multiple dwellings. And the land is extremely farmable. It's far enough away, and they're so few in number that outside these walls, you and your men would easily be able to hold them back. They would reduce the burden on the trading post and on Oleg and Svetlana, potentially become self-sustainable, and develop a settlement for any settlers that wanted to travel south.
Fair.
Plus, they're out coming from the plains direction, so you'd see them coming for miles. And they're far enough out that the bandits moving around in the woods, we didn't encounter any of them while we were out, and we didn't see any evidence of them until we got extremely close to the woods. So rendezvousing with their compatriots could be diminished, especially if they found a purpose other than banditry and they enjoy it more.
I could see that. And that would allow me to focus more on the individuals that have not earned trust yet. It would allow more one-on-one work with them without having to keep track of quite so many people.
Even if you don't trust them to leave, are they required to stay?
So far as I've been informed, none of them are required to stay. But realistically, what other choices do they have? They've been granted freedom in the middle of a wild, untamed, unfriendly area with no prospects. What sort of freedom do they have?
Then I'm going to give them this prospect. And those who want to take it, I want to help them take it.
There are two individuals that I would recommend keeping an eye on, one of which I would recommend not leaving just yet.
And who are they?
Caps. I think he is workable, but because he is workable, that makes him dangerous. And I have a feeling he might cause chaos wherever he goes if he's left his own devices just yet. I think he should stay here for now and continue to prove his worth. And honestly, if his loyalty could be won, he might be something of a powerful token on the play table. I just haven't figured out how to utilize him yet.
Do they have a natural hierarchy?
Very much so. Haps was the established leader previously, however, left to their own devices, they tend to gravitate towards Cullen. It's one of the reasons I've trusted him. He's shown a good head on his shoulders, and they naturally look to him for guidance. What he says tends to go. And he's not very fond of Haps, but Haps tries to usurp him regularly.
And do you think if left to you, you could break Habs?
I haven't even begun to try that yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to work him from an angle that will keep him in one piece, but should breaking be what's required, I can certainly employ such methods. I've done it before.
Break like a wild horse.
Oh, I understand.
Okay. Alright.
The other that I would keep an eye on, though I am not sure he's of any particular danger, he's just hard to keep track of, would be Colin. And he gestures, and he's the fairly scrawny redhead map maker of the two map maker boys. He is... I'm not sure where his loyalties lie, and they're easily swayed by whatever may interest him. Should settlement and work interest him, he's fine, but from time to time his eye has been drawn by other things and other persuasions.
Such as?
He's very influenceable by Haps. I assume that perhaps because of his natural inclination towards intellectual pursuits, that he was not taken very seriously in his previous profession, and thus sucking up to Haps gave him some measure of protection. Now he's more prone to follow whoever is leading, regardless. So he has very little loyalty, but it could be earned, or bought, as necessary. I think separating Haps and Cullen will help a lot with that.
Do any of these bandits have skills beyond banditry that you've learned of?
Cullen seems to have some training. He's, not anything professional, I'd say, but I would rather have him fighting on my side than against me. Colin and Milty both have some map-making ability. I would say Milty has the better sense of general direction. Tino rather recently has found a fondness for hunting, and is quite proficient at it. Particularly small game. He's very quick. Havel is not smart, but he's good at lifting heavy things, which has its own uses. And Tony is among the snarkiest assholes I've ever had the displeasure of being around. He recently, you may notice a few of them have sticks. They're currently in place of proper training weapons. He was granted one, and then he made a mistake and he lost the privilege.
I see.
He attempted to challenge Haps to a duel with a stick.
Well,
And then proceeded to beat him with the stick anyway. So he lost stick privileges.
sure that made Haps enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go talk to Jihad,
Right.
push this idea past him. You gather the ones that you think can handle it, and I will talk to them as a group.
All right.
And then I will walk away to go find Jihad.
Okay. And we'll have that scene. I'm going to finish up with Slate. About that time is when dinner will be called. So you can either have it during dinner or take it up after dinner.
We'll do it during dinner.
Yeah, just so we don't keep piling on things before dinner.
Mhm.
Slate! You are looking for Oleg.
Yeah.
Oleg is also not hard to find. Generally, if you look in Oleg's house, if he's not outside, he's in the house.
Yeah.
So when you find him not outside, you look in the house. And look, Oleg's there. In Oleg's house. He is having a small discussion with Svetlana and taking away 2 empty bottles of wine.
Ah, yeah. Saw that coming. Out of character, I saw that coming.
And she seems to be very cheerful and very affectionate.
They'll step in and be like, Oleg, can I speak with you?
Yes. Which is like the most excited you've ever heard him say anything. As he like dislodges her arms from around his waist as she nuzzles his neck. He's like, Lana. What? The bread. I can make something else, right? Lana. Don't set anything on fire while I'm out. Walks away with 2. Walks towards you, empty wine bottle in each hand.
Ah, yeah.
As she pouts. He's like just outside the house.
Yeah. Seems like your wife's having a good time.
I don't let her drink much for a reason.
I can see why. However, I don't want to intrude on your private life here.
It's fine.
He's gonna hold out the armor and the stag necklace and be like, "We have some stuff we would like to trade, if possible."
Certainly workable. I can give you an estimate on price right now, but he kind of looks back at the door. My coin is mostly in the storeroom, so I'll give it to you.
That's fair. When you can get it to me, that's understandable.
Oh yeah, 19 appraised. So yeah, he can give you the number that I'm sure Jake has.
Yeah, Jake, you can just DM it to me.
Yeah.
On top of that, I do have a few questions. That because you've been in this area for a while, and I'm curious about some things since being out there. What do you know of the brother of Bakken?
Whistles and rubs the back of his neck after transferring the wine to the and he just kind of puts it down on the ground next to the door, because they don't really have a compost bin; they just reuse them.
I figured.
Or recycling, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Mean son of a bitch, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's kind of what. Yeah, that one.
We had a hunter a few years ago. God, what was his name? He got out of the business shortly thereafter. Unrelated, mind you.
Okay.
But happened to retire. Dandlin, I believe it was. Had the displeasure of meeting him and his companion, Big Mean Cat.
Big mean what?
Cat. I'm not sure what type off the top of my head, because neither was he. But He had some nice scars to show for it, for daring to walk near where he was.
Okay. And he kind of opens his book and begins writing it down so that he has it. Do you have a description of the cat?
DM will in just a second.
Okay. That's fair.
when she scrolls down to the correct page. Where the fuck is that thing?
I just love how she's still in Oleg's voice as she talks about it.
No, you're dead. You are not a cat.
You're dead. You're not a cat.
You're also not a cat. And you're a man who isn't dead.
It will hopefully be dead in the future.
Fucking where the fuck is your brother? Are you even in this book, fucking thing?
This is sorry, I gotta pull my.
It's on the inside cover of the book, motherfucker. No, of course, the back cover, not the front cover. I can't drop Oleg's accent or I'll lose it, so
Fair.
you just get incredibly grumpy. Oleg. There he is. No, that's not the right thing. You motherfucker, you said it was on the inside cover and you are a liar. Who the fuck is that? That's not Keston's brother. No, not Keston's brother. Bakken's brother. Bakken, where the fuck is your brother? Let me just look up brother. Nope. It's in a different book. Why the fuck is it in a different fucking book?
It's the inside cover of a different book.
I thought it was book 2. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it and it's not in this book. It says inside cover, but they're wrong.
They are wrong.
It's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah,
I'd like to know.
liar.
I'm a fucking liar. Says see the inside back cover of this book and it's wrong. What the fuck? Did I miss it? I probably missed it. No, because you're a different thing. You are not a brother.
You are not a brother. You are not a cat.
I can't breathe.
So it's his brother, just in the cat. I think, for reference, the DM thinks it was some kind of mountain lion, puma kind of thing. So that's what I'm gonna describe.
Okay, cool.
We'll just go with that. It's
Until
definitely
you
a cat.
actually find it.
I just
later.
want to know whether or not he would know what it is off the description.
Yeah, it's not any sort of magical cat beast or
Okay,
anything.
okay,
It's just like a fucking puma or something.
Do you know whether or not anything that I'm assuming you've probably heard
Oh,
about
a,
him?
a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some. I mean, obviously, this is all second, third, drunk
Yeah.
hand knowledge. But, from what I understand, at least the wife beater part is true.
He's trying not to look like he's like the confirmation part of it is like
Apparently, one of the other hunters around here, who has a name that the DM can't come up with right now,
it's fine.
but it doesn't matter. Steve,
There you go, Steve.
the great hunter, Steve.
I'm surprised you didn't go Percy or something. Like that.
Oh no, I'm saving Percy for a special occasion.
Oh, okay.
It was either going to be a Steve or a Jeff.
Oh man, I like Jeff better.
No, it's not Jeff, because Jeff's going to bring the natty lights.
Okay.
This is... Jeff got it. You know it's a Jeff. It's Steve the Shades. You know a Jeff
I
with the
know.
natty lights.
I know a lot of Jeffs, and yes, the natty lights.
They drive a truck, they bring the natty lights. Like, what they do.
They have the smokestack muffler. Yep.
Yep.
Oh my god.
We know. We see you, Jeffs. We're calling you the fuck out. Drink
My
better
name-
beer.
My name Jeff.
But this is a Steve, not a Jeff anyway. There's almost a Dan too, but fuck Dan's.
They're dicks.
But
But yeah, he apparently family friend kind of thing where he had a distant relationship with her and attended the funeral. At least is what it said.
okay.
And he swears it was a closed casket.
Oh. Just realization just kind of sits in on what happened. Noted. Thank you. That is good information for me to have.
Saying is, if you happen to come across him and then no one ever happens to come across him again, you'll be doing the lands a favor.
We'll
At least
keep
that's
that
my
in
feeling
mind.
on it.
And we'll definitely let the others know about it.
Fair enough.
Oh, Kana's gonna be happy when she finds out.
Also, the pelt might sell for a good coin.
You're not wrong. Yeah. He's still trying to get over the fact that, like, this all could 100% be true, so his, like, instincts are like, I want to kill this man.
Yeah, Balkan has certainly bitched enough about people stealing from him. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true, but no one would be surprised if that's true. But the other claims I tend to worry about a little more.
Yeah, especially because we met Bakken, so if
I'm sorry.
like Bakken, yeah.
Lana likes him. I'm not sure why.
He's
At the moment, Lana likes everybody, though, so I guess it's not all that surprising.
Does she though? And he thinks back to
No,
okay, that's what I
no,
thought.
not at all. She actually doesn't like very many people.
Okay, I mean, I know she likes like Sakura and Kanako.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure there's a few of the bandits she definitely didn't like.
No, not at all.
But okay, I will keep that in mind. Sorry, I have to let you go back to. And he just.
Oh
kinda
no,
gestures
there's
to-
surely a roof or a wall that needs repairing somewhere around here.
Well, I wish.
Somewhere. I'm gonna go inspect all of it.
The old tactic of husband
Okay.
that doesn't want to deal with his wife.
And he's like that very manly handyman, kind of like hike the pants up a little bit, and start
Yeah.
moseying very slowly.
I will. I will bring it. Don't worry about the money till tomorrow, because I know you're dealing with that.
I'll get it to you once she's calmed down.
I'll be here.
And we'll have dinner inside, just to let everybody know.
Oh, okay.
It's for the best. And then dinner.
Yeah, when we get to dinner, he's like, I don't think Oleg and Svetlana will be joining us.
Kana kind of just like snickers, just like for the conversation I heard came in on earlier. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
When we all gather for dinner, Sakura will make sure that everybody knows about the letter from Maine and that he's going to be delayed for a bit longer.
Okay.
Good to know.
Well, at least he's being safe as well. He's not being out in all the storms. That's at least a good thing to know.
Yes.
trying to add money to my thing so that I have it longer.
I was just leaving it open for everyone catching each other up kind of business.
Yeah, we'll kind of look at the rest of the party and say to him, I think I might have a solution for some of these bandit individuals. Spoke with Keston. They're making ends meet here, but the extra mouths to feed is difficult.
Uh-huh.
So, remember that copse of trees we cleaned all the spider nests out of?
Yes.
I'm thinking, Keston thinks this isn't the worst idea, of asking Jihad and the ones that Keston has grown to trust to see if they want to move that direction to build a small settlement that they can be fairly independent and take some of the strain off of Svetlana and Oleg and reduce the risk to Keston and his guys.
Would they be safe doing that? I mean, I know that we didn't see many dangers out there, but...
Well, based on the boots that Jihad wears, he's a very rugged individual who's traveled a bunch and been in the wilderness more than we probably give him credit for. So I'm willing to trust that he knows what he's doing. And from what I've been told, Cullen is one of the more trustworthy individuals. And they were bandits. They're not uncommon or unfamiliar to weapons.
That's true enough.
And it's far enough away from the woods that we didn't see any bandit activity or any tracks in the snow whatsoever until we got near the spider's nest. So the odds of them interacting with their former comrades, especially if it's the ones who didn't want to be bandits or potentially want a different lifestyle, it could be the first settlement in your attempt with this charter that you're running to try and attract settlers to the south.
That is true.
Plus, I can work with the ones that are less ideal while they're here at Oleg's. And if I decide to continue on in the spring, I can potentially take them with me as aides on my expedition, thus further eliminating the remainder of the problem, if they are open to those ideas.
That's not a bad idea. I have faith in Colin, the ones in the settlement in line, and they trust him enough.
Any major objections?
Not for me.
Colin shakes her head now.
I'm good.
And at that, Grokhan will look around at the others, see if they have any news, and when they do not, he will then go to sit with Jihad.
Jihad is enjoying the stew because tonight it's not spicy.
It's savory and has a nice red wine flavor.
Yeah, it's like a red wine, like pot roast kind of vibe. So like, he's digging this tonight. He is so happy.
Brother Jihad, I have a favor to ask of you.
He wipes his mouth. Yes, of course. What can I do for you, Grokhan?
There's a copse of trees about 5 kilometers to the east of here.
Oh shit, it's real tasty. She rolled an 18.
I was talking to Keston earlier and trying to take some of the strain off of the resources here outpost. Some of the more trustworthy reformed bandits could potentially move that direction and erect a settlement. And I know that it's not the temple you're seeking out, but it would make Keston and myself feel much more comfortable if you were one of the people who also went that direction. Provide a moral guiding post.
Well,
obviously, upon discovery of the temple and the purging of whatever issue is there, we would not get in your way. But in the short term,
fair. That's fair. And having a settlement would perhaps bring additional people rather than just the trading post, and at which point perhaps one or two of them might be more open to my teachings, be interested in helping me with the renovation of the temple. So long as word is sent, if that comes to light, I would be honored.
that relieves some of my concern, and I'm very appreciative.
Me too. Be good to get out of these four walls again.
Yeah, I don't think those boots have seen as many miles as they're accustomed to.
No, and it kind of looks at our table and kind of see him do that thing with his feet where it's like, not in a little while.
Well then, I'm going to talk to the rest of the gentlemen that Keston rounds up for me later this evening. And assuming all things go well, we're going to plan to move in about 2 days.
Fair enough.
And with
You see,
that, Grokhan will eat.
Yeah, and you see him actually take out like a little, it's a very simplistic notebook from his pocket, and he actually, takes it, and a little like a little stubby charcoal kind of pencil, and actually takes down a couple notes himself. Yeah, you're not the only note taker, motherfucker.
I'm just the one that takes the most of them.
Yes, his notes are like, go east.
Yeah.
Arasta, good. Yeah, and so you feast. There is plenty. It is very much a serve yourself, because the door to Oleg's house is shut fucking tight.
Yeah.
There are noises. Do not roll perceptions. Just leave it be. The crackling of the fire is wonderful.
The temptation was real though. Only because he seems to look in her house. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want.
No, I'm
I
good.
won't stop you, but you don't have to. Is what
Pretty
I'm
sure
saying.
he knows.
Pretty sure, as someone who has been around people with genitals, you can figure it out. You can piece it together, so to speak. Yeah.
Sitting around the fire after dinner, Grokhan,
Is it time to make your girlfriend happy?
well, it's time to sing a song.
In real life, even?
Oh yeah.
I'm muting because it's time.
So as they're around the fire in the evening, Grokhan pulls out a very small stringed instrument and begins to plucking at it and starts to sing a song. Row, row, heave and ho, to battle and plunder, off we go. The squirrel barks orders and we set a course. Row, row, heave and ho, the scald banks his drum and out with the oars. Row, row, heave and ho, to battle and plunder, off we go. Our blades hit the water and we leave the quay. Row, row, heave and ho, we cut through the water and out of the bay. Row, row, heave and ho, to battle and plunder, off we go. It's a stormy sea and the waves have froth. Row, row, heave and ho. This ain't the time, boys, don't be a sloth. Row, row, heave and ho. To battle and plunder, off we go. The beach approaches and weapons are drawn. Row, row, heave and ho. Mow down our enemies just like our lawn. Row, row, heave and ho. To battle and plunder, off we go.
Our lawns are historically accurate, but we'll go with it.
I was looking for a rhyme, and it's the best I could do.
Valid. But you know what? A for effort. And you did a song. What the fuck? You wrote your own song for my game. Like,
Proud.
Golf claps. The boyos are much more enthusiastic than this group is. But nonetheless, and most of them don't know the words because none of them have heard the song before. But they do catch on to the row, heave and ho part. They're really good at that part. I will also admit, when you first started, I legit thought you were going to troll us and just do row, your boat.
So did I.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thought that, because we went, row, and it, row your boat. Oh, no, not that. Okay, cool. But they're just going to do, like, a really intense version.
Slate
be
would
fair.
Slate would kind of like sway along with it as he's like writing things down, and like he'll close his book for him singing that eventually.
And then he's going to write a scathing review.
Pitchy, not really all that great, a little raspy.
It's better than his cooking.
Not lately.
I mean, fair. You're right.
At least his cooking has a chance.
He had more ingredients than.
Anyway, but no, I mean, dude, that's one of my players just wrote a song for my game. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. I will still absolutely roast you because we're friends, but like, fuck.
Yep. That's cool.
I expect nothing less.
Exactly. Because if I was nice to you, you'd get real suspicious and freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So, the best way I can reward you is by acting like it's totally normal and, you know, you fuck off. Oh, and also you're gonna die. Like, I'm gonna kill off your character. There you go. But he will forever be remembered for row, row, row your boat. Gently down the raging, frothing sea.
I thought that was the best verse, personally.
I also agree with that. The whole, like, frothing and quay and, like, that whole part, very good. The mowing our lawns part, maybe less so. I will give you shit for that part.
That's fair.
And the deduction.
Very fair.
Just like our lawns. Cons, Dawn, Fawn.
You know, it's just now hitting me that my character's name rhymes with drawn.
Grokhan, yeah. It did seem the obvious one, that's why I skipped it, but you right. Grokhan.
It's okay, I've had a couple of those moments this week.
With all our steel drawn. Yeah, there's a few. But it's okay, you still wrote a song. So, that's enough roasting for 1 minute. Anyway. So after your rousing rendition, and much swaying and heaving and hoeing apparently, but by guys who have probably never even seen the ocean, but they're very enthusiastic. It winds down, because that was very exciting. And it's getting late. The sun is down. The stars are out. It's getting cold. Shiver, shiver, motherfucker.
Unless anybody has anything else they want to do before we go to bed.
We don't have to pull guard shifts, and my hammock is in the warm stable.
Yes,
Winning.
I feel like the perfect cinematic exit here is just, you know, Row, row, heave, and ho! As off to plunder we go, and you just like see the sparks from the fire go up into the sky. That's like the cinematic
Oh my
exit.
god, I could definitely do prestidigitation to make it better. Just have like little fireworks coming out of the
Sparkles!
fire.
Like it. But you didn't. So,
Yeah.
instead we just get embers into the sky and a cinematic exit.
Mhm.
And sleep. Warm, cozy. Slip. Not on ground. Not in wagon. In hammock and bed. And place. Cozy. Not a bedroll. Blankets. Pillow even. Warm. Find out if anybody has any dreams tonight.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Because I'm sure that's unlikely. Oh. Okay. I'm just going basically in the same order that I do for your watch shifts, just to make it easy on myself. Because that's otherwise a lot more brain than I want to do today.
Oh no. You said oh no on mine.
I did. I did say
Oh
oh no. I did say oh no on yours, and I only rolled oh no on yours. So everyone else has a nice, calm night. If you have dreams, they are pleasant and undisruptive.
Oh boy.
Yay.
But oh dear friend Slate.
Nah.
Friend Slate, dear friend Slate. Friend. You have dream. Such dream as dream you have. Let me pull up my dreams that I have ready for you.
I'm so concerned. There are so many dreams he could be having, and that's why I'm concerned.
Oh, you should be. Because for reference, I have prepared dream sequences for all of you.
Yeah.
Plural.
Yeah.
And
And knowing what my character's backstory is, oh no.
boy. So,
She did this to us a lot. The
I
last
did.
time
I
we
believe it.
played.
and it was one of your favorite and least favorite things. So,
It's definitely like the most memorable.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Please do tell us what Slate dreamt about.
Don't worry, this isn't like prophetic vision one. This is just for funsies.
I know, but still,
So,
please do
let me-
tell.
Let me throw in appropriate music. 1 second.
Oh god, because you
I feel like
there's
there's-
music for it.
Oh yeah, no, there has to be music for this. Let me pull up the appropriate one. But talk amongst yourselves.
Day.
That the one? No, not
Oh my gosh. I finished the line work though for the main piece though.
that one. That's the one. I found it. I knew it was down here. I just had to figure out
what
what
give you
exact
his
one.
music list. A lot of
Oh
music
no,
can
this is
work
just one
with
I've
it,
been
too.
waiting.
Oh god.
Ow.
Cece. Hated your shit.
There we go.
Fuck, I can't get back up. Okay.
Cece has fallen and she can't get up.
Life alert. Press life alert.
Couldn't find my headphones either, apparently. They fell.
Alright, so. As you fall into a reasonably restful sleep. At first, there are no dreams. It is simple, comfortable, dark. And there's things in the darkness.
My phone's notification went off and it was like, surprise! Which was really good timing because you said
Perfect.
there are things in the dark. Surprise!
Perfect, thank you, phone. And things begin to take shape. Long, graggling trees, like clay that someone has taken with spindly fingers and drawn up and let the tendrils fall as they will. The ground is wet and thick with silt and debris, algae, plump. Distantly, you can hear the screaming of cicadas. That strange, almost human sound at times. There's something in the water, and though you are standing in it, you are also looking down in it. And it slowly rises on its back until it breaks the water, staring up at you. And it's your mother, petrified by the swamp. But you don't recognize her face. Can't you wake up?
I'm writing this down. Hold on.
You're good. Also, I didn't realize that music got really lively in the middle, so...
Yeah, like, what was that last bit?
It's the face of their mother, but they don't recognize them.
Ooh. Yikes.
They're a bog mummy!
When it happens and he wakes up from it, he'll sit up and just breathe heavily and there's like probably sweat down his face as down their face as they sit up and they're like, it was just a dream, just a dream, and their hands are shaking and everything as they sit up, and they're like, and they kind of look around at their areas to get a gauge of where they're at and everything, and they're like, tries to calm his nerves as best as he can, but the image of his petrified mother is not leaving his mind and not being able to recognize it. He'll open his book and write it out in the area where he's had others prior and added it to the list before getting up for the day, I assume.
Yeah, this happens late enough that even outside, just the cracks between the wood and stuff, you can see this sky is starting to light into a gray. So, a little earlier than you normally get up, but
yeah,
not significantly. You still got a full night's rest.
Oh. And then he'll head outside and sit down with his book and prepare for his spells for the day.
You realize how seriously I'm taking it by the fact that my note says it's the bog mommy.
Yeah.
Restful night's sleep for most of you. The dawn comes. Svetlana does go about making breakfast. It is simpler than normal. Just by a touch. By a lot. It is filling and hot. And there are, various dried fruits and such that you can add to it yourself, but it is essentially just fucking porridge.
Yeah.
And she's certainly less energetic than she was yesterday.
Tip your hat to Oleg.
She periodically walks over to some of the partially melted snow and scoops it into a cloth and just presses it back on her head.
Aww.
She hung over.
And
I don't think Oleg got any. She probably passed the fuck out.
Well,
Probably.
there were noises.
there are noises that none of you rolled to identify, so who knows? Who knows? Is that Svelana and Oleg? But nonetheless, she is significantly quieter today. Though Slate, because you're up so early, you do see her like start to walk by the door and then look down at the 2 empty bottles and like she just kicks one over. She has what one might call regrets.
He won't say or do anything, but he watches her and just kind of smiles to himself for a moment, watching her just kick the bottle.
Just kind of rolls sadly. But at some point, someone started the fire. You do see Oleg a couple times come out and feed some more wood into it just to build it up. He's helping her this morning.
Yeah.
Because he is a good husband. And so he's actually the one that brings out the cauldron that she usually does. And even as he's coming out, he's like, no, it's fine. Puts it over the fire and goes back in, takes out the bowls and the spoons. And kind of looks at the few of you that are there. By this point, that's probably most of you. Except for Kana, because the food smell is just now happening. And looks around awkwardly because he's not normally the host. Says, serve yourself. Starts to go back in, stops, comes back over, gets a bowl, puts some in for them to have, a spoon, and then goes back in.
Yeah, when he says serve yourself, Slate will just stand up and go grab him a bowl and serve himself, but isn't saying anything right now.
Squirrel would do the same.
I think Grokhan will fill 2 and walk over to the guest building, open the door, and be like, don't punch me. And try to wake Kana up with the food.
She's already awake.
Observe
When
Sakura do this a few times.
she smelled that first whiff, she's fucking awake.
Okay, well,
Imagine like sitting up in bed though, like rubbing your eyes or something.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
you're
probably
Still
still
set it in-
waking up, but yeah.
he'll set it on the chest at the foot of the bed for you once you finally get up and moving, and then walk back outside.
And the reformed boys start sawing their way in with Keston and co. And you notice they always have like one guy up on the palisade kind of circling. So there's always one person, one of the, now 3 of them, usually 4, but one of the 3 of them that's, you know, circling up there. Same at like dinner. They always have one guy. That's why you so often find Keston on the palisade, to be honest. Is he usually takes that position. Allows him to watch over the training as well as, you know, keep watch. Luckily, so far, he hasn't really had to engage that part of his job. But, sorry, I was trying to figure out who was talking, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's background. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just took a second to register. But, they seem tired, but word has spread through them that there might be news. So they're kind of, you heard anything? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, kind of vibes. But, somebody may have mentioned something. Or at least caught on.
Got it. Well, then after breakfast, Grokhan will look at Keston and give him the nod to round the boys up. and he'll move his way over to the right side of the outpost by, well, because the platform's big enough, he'll probably go to that northeastern corner so that he can be away from the ones that aren't invited.
Okay. You'll see the gathered individuals, which I will put there. It'll be Navin, Pollen. Actually, he didn't, so you should get an extra. I said 5, and actually I meant 6. Because you also have Milty. So yeah, and Svetlana's inside. Because Svetlana's inside. There you go, Svetlana, get in bed. You need it, baby. Absolutely. There. Okay. And then Keston's just kind of up, past it. That way Grady and Arden can get their food. So, that's roughly what you got going on. Unless you want them up there with you.
I mean, I was trying to give him space to be up there, but...
Okay, then that's fine. I'll just...
Yeah.
Jihad will hang back slightly. But there's room enough for them to all be, up there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just said there was 5, and actually there's 6. Which I'll just say, Keston basically was like, we could have one more.
Got it.
So...
All right.
No, that's right. That's why there's 5, not him. There we go. That's correct. Okay. And Colin was the flexible. You were going to let him know whether you wanted him there or not. So he'll when you do the nod, he'll kind of check in with you and want him up there too. All right. I'll keep Haps and him aside then. So then you've got your 5. Cool.
Gentlemen, you're probably wondering why you're here. But my understanding of your situation is that you have an option to do what you want, but at current, don't really have a lot of options. Is that a fair assessment?
General murmurs of agreement.
Here's the deal. It's fairly obvious that there are not a ton of options to do things out here, but I have 2 propositions for you. Proposition 1. If I told you there was a place where you could set up your own settlement well away from your old compatriots so that you'd be left in peace, you could turn it into a farming community, potentially attract further settlers from Brevoy, create lives for yourselves, and be able to trade with this outpost, would anybody be interested?
General, we'd hear you out, yeah.
Opportunity number 2 is a potential opportunity. My intentions of traveling through here are to explore an area to the northeast, east of Brevoy, where old colonies from my lands are supposedly had been established but lost to time. I'll need a crew of people to head that direction. Understand that you become adventurers in that moment, and the opportunity to settle down and have said life gets postponed for who knows how long amount of time. In the short term, before I begin to make that move and head that direction, helping whoever decides to create the settlement would be something I would appreciate. Plus, building skills of understanding how to build structures, work with wood, forage, hunt. Those are all very positive skills to develop. And I understand one of you has some cartography skills.
You see them all
He's not
look
exactly
milty. I kind of...
Clearly, if I'm rediscovering old places, I would enjoy having somebody with your talents to go with me. If you decide to take this settlement opportunity, I've been told there's a general consensus of leadership amongst you. and I'll look at Cullen.
He has his arms full and he just gives like one nod.
I'm not going to sit there and tell you what to do. It'll be your town to make. But don't give me a reason to come plunder and burn it to the ground. Is there any interest or any major objections?
Discussion. We don't have to super get into it. Two people say that they're interested in the settling, but not interested in continuing forward with you. Beyond that, they will want to stay settled. And that is Cullen and Tony. Both say they want to stay behind. Tino says he's just not sure, but he might be interested in the going forward. All of them are agreeing to the settlement thing. They're all for that. It's just those three have something to say about the continuing forward part. He just says he's not sure yet. He's still, figuring stuff out. But he might be interested. Milty basically says that he's not much help in any other way, but if you'll have him, he would be happy to continue with you as a cartographer. He's the only one enthusiastically like, yeah, if you'll have me, I'll do it. And the rest just say basically, we'll see. See how it goes kind of vibe. But yes, they're all very agreeable to the idea of the settlement.
Well, then we make for the copse of trees for which your settlement will be built around tomorrow. Does a couple of things. Gets you some freedom, and it relieves some of the strain on the supplies here at the outpost.
Colin says, seems fair enough. I can't do his voice. It is much deeper than I can possibly do, but just imagine we're on fucking base.
All right, gentlemen. We need to talk to Oleg and see if we can acquire some tarps to build you some tents while we're out there getting a structure built.
Tony pipes up. Actually, Keston has already outfitted us with some basic camping materials. He placed it.
Fantastic.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, already have those.
Well, then we need some axes so you can cut some trees down and defend yourselves if something stupid happens.
We do not possess. You are right.
Okay. Beyond that, I will not be staying with you once we get out there, but Jihad is going to go with you. Provide some
Jihad
sort
kind
of
of like leans over,
moral
like, there's some mixed reactions. A few of them are like, all right. A few of them are like, all right. Cullen has his usual expression of, But none of them seem opposed. None of them say anything, certainly.
I look at it this way, gentlemen. Having a religious leader in your community often draws the appeal of women and other settlers. So, he looks at Tony and Cullen. For those of you wanting to settle, having a brother of community bodes well.
Hal speaks up. I like women.
I bet you do, big guy. I bet you do.
I do.
So let's go tomorrow, get some housing built so that you guys can host. Cool?
Agreements of all of them repeating, cool, cool, cool.
And then I'll use my knowledge engineering to draw some basic blueprints for some structures we can build from logs.
And
I got an 11.
It's not bad. Luckily, between Keston, Arden, and Grady, there's a little additional engineering understanding. Let's see what they an 18. So yeah, they're able to kind of see a couple places where like you know it, but they kind of make some suggestions that will make it better, kind of vibe. Because it certainly didn't fail. But they have some suggestions to make it better or more practical, use less wood in certain places, like, make use of what you got kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just make some general suggestions that may be helpful. They do, because I know you. They do generally like your idea of kind of the longhouse style. They think that's a good idea since they're very used to kind of barracks. It does have that sort of vibe, but a little cozier. And certainly in the short term, and going forward, then once it becomes an actual community, they say, that they could convert that into some sort of actual, like, barracks
Tavern or inn.
or tavern, or, yeah, that building would be very multi-purposable.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, since these guys are, used to kind of camping together anyway, then as they build more things, it'll give them reason to want to build their own spaces, which will further give them initiative. I'm going to say that between that and just having to, like, gather your supplies and stuff, that's going to take you most of the day, if not all day.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's neither. We'll probably be ending on today, regardless. So basically, for the rest of the day, you're mostly occupied with that.
What's it going to cost me to acquire some wood axes?
I will get back to you on that. That's part of the reason we'll kind of stop it for today, is I'll have to kind of put together a list of what you get and how much.
Gotcha.
And anything that's in order when that will get to you, kind of thing. Because there's probably some things that would be useful out there that Oleg's just gonna have to order. So we'll work out how that's gonna go between sessions. If it means we finish up a little early tonight, that's not a big deal. Since I know you have plans this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's gonna go visit someone special. So if we finish up a little early, that's fine. I think it's been a long week for everybody, so not a bad thing. So let me write down that note real quick, because then I have a scene in mind real quick, and then we'll get to anything else y'all want to cover before end of session for the night. Put a little star by it. Supplies. I'll be starting with Sakura, so Slate and Kana, if you think of anything.
Well,
just
the only thing I can think of is the conversation
Yeah.
all of us need to have as a group. That's
Yeah,
really
I'll
all
cover
I
this
can think
first,
of.
and then
Yeah.
we'll be up for that. And then if there's nothing else, we'll just end there for the night and call it a little early, so that way people can get some rest. Supplies for new settlement. And like I said, you and I know we talk a lot, Jake, so we can kind of go over just what all you're looking for and how much we'll work that kind of this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then pick up next week with the travel out there and such.
Perfect.
Sakura. After this is taking place, you see the guys go up and stuff. Tony is going to seek you out.
Okay.
That should surprise no one.
I mean, she'll be hanging around the fire,
Yeah.
looking towards the house, just kind of like worried about Lana. Seeing her kind of hungover. She's seen that before with Kana a couple of times.
Yeah. So it's unpleasant.
Yeah.
But Tony seeks you out. He sees you at the fire and slows his roll a little bit. Because initially it was very much like, I'm going to go see someone, and they see you at the fire, so be like, oh hey. Very relaxed. But he approaches. Do you mind if I take a seat?
No, go right ahead.
He sits next to you, probably just slightly more than is strictly friendly, but he's not like all up on you. He says, so, your friend Grokhan had a quite interesting proposal for us just now.
The settlement, you mean?
Yes, and I do intend to take him up on it. I'll be leaving tomorrow.
That's good. Right? I mean...
I think so. But I know you and I have had something very special here. And I want to hear all about how much you will miss me. He kind of winks. But no, really. Serious for a second. I know you are not used to such intensity from me, but I'm going to try to not overload you with it. I know I am not first among men for you. It is clear. At least to me. You have yet to throw yourself at me, which is very unusual for me, but I understand you are a special kind of woman. And you've made it clear to me, in various ways, that perhaps I'm not quite what you're looking for, as fun as it could be. I am not giving up. I do not want you to take my departure as such. Perhaps it is one more way I can prove to you that I mean it. I mean, I am literally going out to build a settlement, not merely settle in it, but build it myself with my own two incredibly dexterous hands. So dexterous, you have no idea. But you could, if you want. I'm here for another night. But, if not, I understand. You may spend the night weeping my absence. I hope you will not.
I probably will.
Well, I hope you won't, and if you do, come see me. I will give you a hug. And anything else you desire, but at least a hug. And perhaps once in a while you might come out and visit the settlement. I mean, check on how all of us are doing, because you would not be there for any personal reasons, nor would you stay in my newly renovated condo. The DM is not sure those exist yet, but I'm going to say so.
She'll give a small chuckle. Still gotta work on that humility.
Ah, it's not for me. It doesn't suit me like these pants. Have you checked out these, the fake pocket, I like to call it. That's what I thought.
Very familiar with a fig pocket.
Oh, I know. You could be so much more familiar. But I will not force it. And if despite my efforts and despite my settling, you simply want to come over for hot cocoa, my mother passed out a lovely recipe. And my father taught me how to improve it depending on the mood. So, promise you will come see me?
I will.
Promise you will write me?
I can certainly do that as well.
I write very good letters, very steamy. And poetry. Have I mentioned the poetry? You recall my poetry.
You still have it.
Excellent. It's one of a kind piece. When I become famous, oh, it will be worth millions of gold. You'll be a rich woman.
No. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh no, but copies. Copies are different. You have to think, in the capitalism sort of sense. Maybe you can make small greeting cards that people could buy upon a certain day of the year with flowers and give to their loved ones. You could make a fortune.
She's gonna lean over and wrap her arms around him, hug him tightly. Thank you.
Oh dear. So used to women crying over me, and I don't know what to do about this one. He kind of pats your head and strokes your hair a little bit and holds you. On the bright side, I will probably be a much beefier man when you see me next, if you're into that. I could grow out the beard. I think you have a fondness for it.
She kind of turns a little red when he mentions
Ah, there it is. I will grow out such a magnificent beard for you, my dear.
I look forward to seeing it then. Who knows? Maybe it will sway me.
Perhaps. And if not, well, I can sway you in other ways, I suppose. I have lots of ways. I haven't tried nearly all of them yet. And absence does make the heart grow fonder.
It does.
There's so many wiggly eyebrows, I can't do it as fast as he's doing. So, do not mourn me too much. I am growing up and putting on the big boy incredibly tight pants.
I'll do my best not to miss you too much.
Alright, but miss me enough that you come see me. Sooner rather than later, perhaps. No, later. I want time to decorate. No, sooner, because I will miss you. No, you decide. Surprise me.
I will.
Alright. You always do, so I'm not surprised by your surprising.
Don't know what I've surprised you about so far, but
You're still here. You are alive, you are relatively unblemished. You will survive this long in the Stolen Lands. That is nothing to make light of. I only made it this far because I was willing to sell myself into banditry and other things. But those were more enjoyable.
when he mentions about surviving this long, her hand kind of goes back to her waist again. I'll try to survive a bit longer then. Cut it
Just
pretty
remember.
close out there.
Remember, none of us make it out without scars. But those are merely stories that the gods bestow upon our skin.
I'm just glad to still be here.
Pretty good with it, too. I know that must shock you entirely, but I'm rather grateful.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it's good to have someone at home happy to see you. And even all the way out there, I'll be happy.
Please be happy.
You too. These lands are full of opportunity, and wonders and mystery. Surely your happiness is out there somewhere.
I hope
And if not, craft it.
I'll try. It's the best I can do.
Very good. Speaking of trying, I apparently have to pack my luggage, and I have many pairs of incredibly tight pants. I may have mentioned this once or twice, but you should be surprised how much room they take up in your luggage. So I have to go beat them into submission now.
Good luck with that. And stay safe.
Ooh, and there are sticks to steal. Perhaps Haps is nearby. He walks off, whistling innocently.
She watches as he goes and
He does a little butt
Thanks.
wiggle, because he knows you're watching. There's a kind of
As
like,
he goes off to beat his pants.
look, they're a formidable foe.
And Hops, apparently.
And Haps.
Haps, yeah.
The true struggle. Pants and Haps. So, on to probably our last scene for the evening. As various people wanted to have a group discussion.
Yeah. I would say eventually, once everybody can get around and we can get a hold of Grokhan, because I know he's packing.
It's pretty easy to get a hold of me. I'm just trying to coordinate supplies with Keston and
right.
Oleg.
But like, he'll let you do that because he knows that you're trying to do something, and he's not going to bother you at the moment, and he's dealing with his own shit in his head. But eventually.
So dinner rolls around and we sit together.
Yeah. We sit together for the night, and he'll look at the group and be like, so, I think there's a few things we should talk about, and I think we're in somewhat of agreement that it needs to be discussed. First off, on the shorter end, we have the ward that we should probably keep an eye out, especially if we start traveling through the forest. We don't want to lose that in front of our mind. So as we go into watches again, I would suggest keep an eye out for the red eyes. Last thing we want is to get picked off by that. Secondly, I have gathered some information on Bakan's brother.
That's when Kanda's attention really peaks.
Yeah. I was talking to Oleg and found out some information regarding him. He doesn't travel alone. Apparently he travels with some type of puma, mountain lion, cougar.
Big cat thing. Continue.
It seems like one of the hunters came back by his place and had scars. And explained that he had a run-in with Bakan's brother.
So he's as unfriendly as Balkan is batty. Fun.
That's what it sounds like. And you see him kind of clench his jaw as he goes to say the next words. The woman beater part doesn't seem to be a lie.
That's when like Kana starts to like shift a little bit and kind of start to crack her knuckles.
It seems that he, another hunter, outside of the one that got attacked by the cats, had a family friend that was involved, some form, with him. And let's just say the casket was closed for her funeral. And you can see he's not looking at any of you. He is straight down looking at his book where the notes are, and his eyes are glazed over. And you can see that there's anger behind it.
Grokhan will look at Sakura and ask her, I think this may be one of those times before we go to negotiate, have your weapons readily available.
I understand.
What are your thoughts?
If he's attacking people who's just merely passing by, I mean, do we know where he's even located?
Not currently, but I could probably ask Oleg where he's last heard of him. I didn't go in that detail. I didn't want to take him from Svetlana for too long, especially in the condition she seemed to be in last night.
Yeah, she seemed to want to let go a little bit.
That's fair.
But if he's attacking people just passing by, it's something we can't have.
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. That's what Kana says.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
No, I'm
What?
going. This brother is going to die.
Okay.
That is the information I have received so far. I can talk to Oleg more later about where the hunters have last seen him. But that's all the information I have currently. Outside of that, I did give him the leather armor that we have obtained and the stag emblem. And we got some money back from it. About 5 gold and 10 silver. So I'll have that on me if anybody wants it. Let me know. But those seem to be the most current dangers that we are going to have to deal with, that we are aware of. Outside of the bandits, obviously. And, you know, things we've heard coming from the forest.
I'm not quite sure that we're ready to take on trolls, but I'm sure there's a way that we could address that.
I definitely don't think we're ready enough to go into the forest until Mayeen's back, so we're at full force. So I hope at least with that we can kind of agree with that.
I don't mind waiting to. I don't mind not going into the forest. There's a lot more Fey activity in the forest as well.
Tick and Pearl weren't that bad.
I'm not talking about Tick and Perlavash. There's other Fey that can do a lot more harm.
There is that plain on the western side of the forest that we could probably explore next after we get this settlement up and running at that copse of trees to the east.
That'll give
If
me
anybody
time to
want-
work on more scrolls in the meantime. Be more prepared if we need it.
If anybody wants to go with me, we're headed tomorrow.
I thought that we would have been going anyways. Unless it was something you'd prefer to do on your own.
I'm open to as many hands to get them started as possible. But I wasn't going to force anybody to go.
I think it would be safer if we all went. I mean, you'd have to come back on your own, and that wouldn't be quite as safe.
Valid point.
The only thing I would like to do is during that time is work on scrolls so that I can have them just in case we need it.
Well, then plan on riding in the wagon instead of riding a horse.
That would be the plan I would have if I went with. Because expanding that would be better so that I'll have more things to use.
I'll come with you guys.
Fantastic.
Just an extra set of hands.
I can also enlarge Kana and we can take out a lot more.
I mean, that's a fair and valid point.
Spiders will tremble.
Spider maker. Origin maker, but it's just spiders.
Spider Slayer or whatever.
Spider breaker.
What is Kana's favorite candy bar? A Crunch bar.
I mean, it is the best, one of the best candies, at least for me personally.
Crispy.
Gotta get that good crunch.
You guys are gonna make this place, and you're just gonna have like stone spider legs, like it's the gate.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, I made Jake have a happy face.
I mean, that honestly would be a cool fucking idea. Try and go find those spider legs, wherever the fuck they went, and use them.
I mean, they won't last forever. They will rot because they're
True.
made of meat.
That's right. I gotta
But yes, nonetheless, that is something you could work on.
Welcome to the great city of Weberton.
God damn it.
Web Hollow
There, I like that better, Web Hollow.
or Silk
I
Hollow.
could,
Oh, Silk
I could
Hollow
get
is even better.
Silk Hollow. Ooh.
That's
Silk
a nice
Hollow
one,
is even better.
You're welcome.
That's what we could call this little Copes town because there were a bunch of spiders in the trees. Like,
Yep.
I like it.
Jot that down
like
as
it.
I wrote it down as well, so.
But yeah, Silk Hollow. Because I mean, to be fair, the hex that is south, west of yours is where that happened. So like this whole little area. Just saying.
Big ups.
I will add in the honesty here and say that I'm kind of with Kana with this man dying. However, I am willing to let a chance come for negotiations.
Kind of hear a slight growl from Kana.
And you just see him smirk. Believe me, I'm not happy with it either, but I'm used to negotiations. So.
I don't negotiate with abusers.
I value Oleg's opinion,
Yeah,
and I'm willing to trust his judgment.
especially.
But we have to think about what kind of legal system we want to put in place, and if we are just going to be the type that dispense justice or give an accuser an opportunity to defend.
As a person who's been among nobles multiple times and for a very long time, at the very least I can understand that. And he'll look over at Kana. But you and I have an understanding of how we both are. And know that I don't like abusers any more than you do. However, you all still have a charter connected to your names. I do not. And the last thing I would want to happen is something to be found out and you all to get in trouble. Because even though you are authority here, you still have people you talk to that you are under.
And Grokhan will lift his glass to the sky and he'll go, I know how Caden would treat it. And he would dispense a swift justice.
Would.
But our sister of Erastil over here, not so much.
I see it as mine as a revenge. A sort of revenge for
And I can understand that as well.
And Calistria do find that tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you somehow involve bees. Or
But
wasps.
it is best to give it a chance for the time being. And if nothing happens and the things go south, and he'll look up at Kanako again, we'll have our chance. But I'm willing to let your sister and Grokhan have the option of negotiations, at the very least.
Fine, but I highly doubt that there's anything that will come from a man that
Abuses
like
women.
that.
Yep.
I don't care if they're male or female that abuses someone. I don't give a fuck. They should not breathe.
Note taken.
So,
And I will happily let you stand to my right so you can get a real big swing if shit gets funky.
And I will gladly duck.
Slate will shift his eyes over to Sakura. I know you don't like hearing violence and things of that nature. But I am willing to give you a chance to try the things you want to do. And believe me, it's giving all my energy to do it, but I'm willing to do it.
I do appreciate that. If he's as unfriendly and unruly as the stories tell, I doubt I'll even get the chance, but
I agree with Grokhan with having at least our weapons ready and being prepared. But I'm not against trying. However, he has abused people in the past. And that is something we should always remember. Because if they become part of our settlement, or your settlement, then that is something you will have to deal with.
let me be clear on that point. If he becomes part of the settlement, it will not be as a free citizen.
I will keep that in mind then. And he'll close his book where the notes were from earlier. We do need to keep in mind the fact that he has a cat. Some form of big cat, cougar, mountain lion, puma of some sort.
Found out that it is in fact a coma.
Hey.
It's in book 2.
Thank you,
Spoiler
Oleg, for
alert.
coming to relay that information to us.
You're welcome.
Uh,
I don't know why he has
Skinny
cowboy
cat.
hat now, but he does. And also spurs at some point.
and what little I know of cats.
Oh dear Lord, you guys are bad influence on me. All I could think of is Lana dressed him up like that.
You
Yeah.
can keep the spurs on. He likes to ride her like a wild steed.
I regret.
I'm the
so many
bucking
things.
bronco.
Fucking wrong. That was his name in high school. That was her name in high school.
You said that's Oleg's name in high school. My phone went off again.
I love your phone. It's such a great side part.
It's good until it's late at night at like 5 o'clock in the morning and it goes off and you're in pitch dark room and you can just hear surprise and I'm like, what the fuck? Then I hear
What did the ghost say?
yeah.
Piss off, ghost!
Same movie. But yes, I would keep in mind of the big cat, and if I know anything about them, they can probably be very well hidden if we're not careful. So, especially if he's tamed this creature.
I don't mind skinning a cat though.
Oleg said it would fetch a good price if we did. It probably would fetch a good. Would I know how much a puma skin could fetch?
I mean, you could assume,
Be safe to assume you probably get a decent amount of coin.
actually, roll a knowledge and ability on this one.
Oh, knowledge, nobility? I'm not proficient in nobility.
No.
I'm
No,
proficient.
this one's more, go ahead and roll it. This is a special circumstance kind of thing.
Okay.
And just add the int to it. Because this is more just something you've observed from your times.
Oh, fair. Okay, fair.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not
My
noble.
int. Okay. 18.
Yeah. You do know just from being around noble circles and stuff that just furs in general, particularly in one piece, the size described kind of furs are kind of in vogue.
In vogue.
Yeah, we'll say in vogue. The nicer they are, obviously, the more expensive they'll be. But an entire singular piece that looks like the animal it is from is kind of like a thing right now.
Okay.
So you're not sure necessarily how much specifically the puma would be worth because of commonality. You're just not sure. But it's still a thing.
It depends how messed up the skin might be. As well.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys could get it one whole piece, or just bring the body back to someone who could do it in one piece, it could go nicely. Especially if sold to the right people. And if not, it will be very warm.
I can always appraise it on site.
Right. And that's the thing too, is how much damage does the skin have also on the creature?
Yeah.
Because if it's all fuckered, it's not really,
Going to be
worth
worth as much, yeah.
right. In which case that you would probably sell more piecemeal and make a coat or something. A hunter might be more interested in that.
Yeah.
So it really depends.
So, if there's anything else anybody wants to say about this situation, I'm open to listen.
No. Grokhan will just be humming to himself. Dun, 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 dun.
I was waiting for not row your boat.
Oh no.
Roger, did you
Baseball music.
But
Because we have a cleanup hitter at Barbarian.
and a t-shirt cannon. It all works out.
Sandra,
But-
did you have something?
Hmm?
Did you have something now?
No, she was just gonna say that she didn't have anything to add.
Kaneko?
No.
Okay.
And with the group seemingly on the same page, holy shit!
How the did that happen?
We talk like adults and explain stuff.
How dare you accuse us of maturity?
That's fair. That
Yeah, I
was
was looking
very
at you like,
generous.
we're not mature. What are you
What
talking
the fuck? Look, even children can discuss their feelings, okay? They just use a lot smaller words. And sometimes there's more footstepping.
Stumpies!
I've got the stumpies. Why? Because. Why?
Listen,
Hey,
Linda.
yeah.
Listen. Linda, listen.
Okay. But with the party seemingly on the same page about at least one motherfucker in the lands, we will go ahead and call it for the evening. Since I think we're all pretty, it's been a week.
And I'll go find somebody to rate then.
So you didn't die, and I didn't have to roll a lot, so the hot rolls don't fucking matter.
They went all to jail.
They all went to jail, and next week we do things. Yay!
Woo!
I'm so proud of you guys, and as always, you were here. You did great, and thanks for playing. Yay! Stumpy. This is probably